we gotta go live first. No, we gotta hit breaks first. Then go live. Then click on this.
Space, the boundary of human achievement, the new frontier.
It's just a cough.
Yeah, right. And the Earth is flat.
In a few moments, you will have an experience which will seem completely real. It can be extremely harmful and result in severe trauma. You have 5 seconds to terminate this tape. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That little tune they're playing on the radio, I get a copyright for that. Notice. That little faint tune that's playing on that car radio.
Flat Earth expert Mark Sargent thinks the moon landing was
Hey,
a
I know
hoax.
that guy.
Technically, the moon itself is a hoax.
Right, but betting with Sportsbet's new iPhone app?
I could do this standing on my head.
Thanks, Gravity. Sportsbet's new iPhone app. It's
Hold on.
foolproof.
I know how we're different. Do you believe the Earth is flat?
I know it's flat. I walk on it.
Holy sh**.
Do you think the Earth is flat, Snoop? What do you think?
It's a flat world after all.
Smoke weed every day.
It's definitely the triple digits, but I don't know exactly. It's a ridiculous number. Find that out for me before we get
Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently at war with mainstream science. Meanwhile, the Peanut Gallery is taking another well-deserved night off to fight evil. Welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that we're all living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure, thousands of miles wide. Just Google Flat Earth Mark if you can't find it. Well, it's not very good at the internet. Currently, the show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And yes, Caroline, if it's not September 17th, 2024, then you are listening to a rerun. Don't forget the show can be found on BitChute and Brighteon, Rockfin, and Rumble. YouTube is not the end of Flat Earth. It is only the beginning. And before I say the quote of the day, chat room, Anything? Are we all good? 5 by 5. Everybody say 5 by 5. I don't want the same thing that happened last week where I screwed up the microphones. Anything?
Everyone is not saying anything about the fact that your couch is on fire.
That is not my couch. That is a new torch of freedom. I don't know what it is, actually. It was actually a gift from my sister a couple Christmases ago, and I dug it out. It runs on 100%, what is this stuff? 100% isopropyl alcohol.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You can sanitize a wound with it and burn down your house.
It's more, it's a brighter flame, than rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol would be more blue. So this is more yellow. I think technically you could even do like fondue with this thing. It might
what would be nice? Next time, let's get marshmallows.
I was just thinking that some s'mores.
You know what? I will try to cook. I'm pretty sure.
Because it does look like a bonfire in your living room, Mark.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
It
looks kind of dangerous.
Awesome.
As well.
I'm going to say, again, if anyone else thinks or what else I can add, right now I've got 2 different types of lasers and fire. If you think I should add a smoke machine.
Fire.
All right, the quote of the day goes something like what I read last week, but nobody could understand. So I'm redoing it this week. You ready? The flight rate will grow exponentially from there with the goal of building a self-sustaining city on Mars in about 20 years, stressing that being multiplanetary will vastly increase the probable lifespan of consciousness. We will no longer have all our eggs literally and metabolically in one planet. Who said that wonderful bit of insight? Supposedly Elon Musk.
Of course.
Yeah, what a crock. Anyway, my co-hosts in the upper left, the perfect Patricia Steere. In the upper right, the delightful DJ Curious. Hi, guys.
Hello.
What's
up? So, here we are again, this fine Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Since everything's running, let's just continue on. Sometimes it's hard. I know for you two, because you're just horribly unattractive, both of you, to find flat earth friends. Is there an easy way to find cool people like yourself and solid info about our stationary horizontal level plane? Why, yes. The solution is simple. It's the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's currently this close from hitting 200,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Watch the feature video every day for 2 weeks to see what happens. It'll be the best $2.99 you've ever spent. Oh, so sleepy. And because it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast, it's time to say goodnight to one of our listeners, Paige. She just put on her sugar bear pajamas, got a cup of cocoa with exactly 6 tiny marshmallows, and will probably listen to the playback in the morning. Good night, Paige. And
Paige.
And if you missed it last week, we actually had Paige Cam, where David walked downstairs and actually had her in her, what was it? Lady in the Tramp pajamas. And because of the echo, you probably didn't understand what the hell I was saying, but whatever. So she was good. And then David tortured her during the show because he could remote activate the living room lights. That was horrible.
Right? We tried to put a disco in her living room as she was asleep.
Right.
Aw.
All right.
They're still together. It's weird.
They're still together. David.
I know. I told her that he's kind of like a frat boy. And that's kind of hot. So, Paige, at least you're not bored.
Paige, you're too good for him. I'm not shy about saying that. Shout outs to Flat Earther Stephen Carpenter, the Deftones. Support the Flat Earth cause. Get the coolest hoodies ever. Go to thestrong.family, won't you, and pick up some merch. Also to Zulu1, longtime listener of the show, for doing a simulcast stream on his channel of the same name, Zulu1. Meetups. Oh boy, I got to rattle through these. We got a bunch. Okay, next meetup, next Jesse meetup will occur Saturday, the 21st from 12 to 3 at McNelly, South City. That's 7031 South Zurich Avenue, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm not going to read the zip code. That's about 15 minutes from downtown Tulsa. You can RSVP him at 781-857-9175 or email him 300kmileprius@gmail.com. He will have an Nikon P1000 with him. Saturday, September 21st, 6 p.m., Greg's Restaurant, 1303 North Main Street. That's in Providence, Rhode Island. You can email truther... Oh my God, my phone's actually listening to me. I don't know why that. Did you hear that? That actually piped up over there.
What was it?
It was my phone. My phone. Apparently, I gave it an instruction. Whatever. They're not listening. You can email Truth or Leah, and her email address is yestheearthisflat@gmail.com to RSVP that. Promos that are on my channel. There's a Los Angeles meetup, September 22nd. I don't know. DJ, you going to that LA meetup on the 22nd?
Yeah, I think I am actually.
Down on the beach with Renee?
Yes.
Meetup, Minnesota, September 24th. That's on my channel. West UK, September 24th. And by that, I mean the United Kingdom. By that, I mean merry old England. That's with Sven P. He's going to be hosting it. October 1st at La Serena Restaurant in Puerto Morelos, Mexico with David Weiss. That's not going to be really formal, so wear shorts and flip-flops. And
I wish I was going to that. That sounds so fun.
Well, yeah, and you get to see David Weiss even drunker than usual. And Flattoberfest, Spartanburg, South Carolina, September 27th through the 29th, flatearthfestivals.com. I'm sorry, then October 12th in Kansas. So I don't know how many that was, like 8? So yeah, Flat Earth's not going away.
It's growing.
But go ahead, Patricia.
What I wanted to say is something else is happening. It was going to be happening tomorrow, but the date had to be changed.
Right. Go ahead.
The secret show, for those old school flat earthers, is coming back to my channel. The channel's called Patricia Steere, and it's going to be Mark Sargent and I, like in the old days, 2015 forward, just talking. And I guess this is what we're doing here too, but that's what it's going to be, the secret show.
Yep.
We're going to debut it, not as I earlier promised on my community page for tomorrow, but the following Wednesday. So
a week from tomorrow, it's going to be
5 p.m. Is it 5 p.m. Eastern time?
4 p.m. your time and 2 p.m. my time, Pacific.
Correct. So 5 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday and every Wednesday from now on.
Yeah, so I don't know if DJ knew. We didn't tell DJ.
No, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
I have a little secret.
Oh boy.
Well, we already know that.
Yeah, we know that one, DJ.
But I've been actually listening to 2015, 2016 Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes shows as like my nightly routine. It's so cute. You guys are adorable on there.
Thank you.
Well, that was the secret show. And if you want to see old secret shows, they are on my Patricia Steere channel in a playlist called The Secret Show. So some people get confused about Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. That was just me interviewing people. And The Secret Show was Mark and I.
Yep.
But there's a crossover.
It's so good.
Where Mark and I did have an interview together in 2015 that was part of the Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes channel, which doesn't exist anymore, which I deleted. And, sometimes I feel sad that I did because I had to scramble around, not just me, but someone else very special helping out, to put the old videos on my current channel. But why would I do something that dumb? And have you ever just felt like blowing everything up and walking away?
Yes.
Yes, but in a good way.
Yeah, and that's what I did. And at the time, in 2019, I really needed to do it. And it felt great. And it freed me of a lot of really evil, rotten, horrible people who, weirdly enough, seem to have disappeared from the Flat Earth scene, whether they died or whether they just disappeared.
And I'm sure that had nothing to do with your magic spells at all.
No.
Well, everyone's excited to see you back, and I'm really enjoying watching them and listening to them and just seeing you guys interact and kind of getting the backstory on everything that's happened since I've shown up into the scene. So it's really great.
Yeah.
Right now, we're in the middle of Flat Earth history, though. The current thing with the, I don't even want to call it the final experiment.
Which we will
but
talk.
There's a new name for it. The Antarctic Sun Observation.
Yeah. And we will talk about that in 1 second, but we got to run because DJ reminds me of this. We got to run the Fast Earth Clue, which I made last week.
Yeah.
Which was for Scientism. So for all of you, and again, I'm going to do I'll tell you what I'm going to do next week. But give me a second. We're going to switch over. So my Flat Earth friends message me, say, Mark, do you have a thing against science? I said, I've got some major beef. I call it scientism because you trust in it like a religion. All it takes is a guy in a lab coat to tell you this is where you live, and you don't question it because you believe he's smart and you're not. But these same lab coats get it wrong all the time. Let's sell heroin in stores. Let's add cocaine to cola. Why do you think it became our national beverage? Let's kill mosquitoes with DDT and almost wipe out our national bird. So not kidding. Lead gasoline was a good one. Lead paint was even better. How about radioactive paint for glow-in-the-dark watches? Read up on the Radium Girls. That's a fun story. factory. Asbestos is actually an amazing product unless you work in the factory, then not so much. And don't forget all the scientists who took the cash and told people that cigarettes are perfectly fine and that secondhand smoke was a myth. The only thing that stopped big tobacco was big healthcare with bigger money. So when scientists say trust us because nothing bad will happen, yeah, I'm a little more than skeptical. Neil Tyson said that science is right whether or not you believe in it. Okay. These lab coats wouldn't lie about the shape of the earth. That's grade A denial. So do your own research. Your life may depend on it. And you know what? I'm not done. There you go. So,
Right.
yeah, what I was doing there, and I ended up, it's going to be a two-parter. The first part is this particular half was what science does wrong, and then starting tomorrow, I've already got the script in my head, is going to be what science believes in versus what they refuse to believe in, including, the whole flat earth. They believe in stuff they absolutely cannot prove, and I'm going to remind them the little things that they should have, that they denied. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time going into cryptozoology. All the animals, because science is notorious for this, all the animals that they refuse to believe in unless it's sitting on their lab table. Right? It's like everything is a freaking myth until it shows up. And it's like, come on, guys, you can't be. Right? So anyway, that's
unicorns?
Yeah, well, and you know what? Thank you, Patricia, for mentioning that.
Isn't that a rhino, really?
Because, well, no. Well, the rhino's pretty close, but you know what's even better? I don't know if either of you, DJ's too young probably to remember it. Narwhals. You guys know what?
Oh, yeah.
Narwhals. They're basically.
They're like seals.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, they're whales. They're unicorn.
Oh,
they're unicorn whales with a single giant tusk. And by the way, if anyone, and I know I'm kind of spilling the beans before I do the show, but it's only like 2 seconds worth of the freaking video, which is if anyone knows of anyone that has a narwhal tusk they're willing to part with, I would love one because they grow minimum 7 feet long.
You want like a magic wand, or you're?
Well, no, I know because I've got one of the most unusual hiking sticks sitting over there in the other room that I used to hike with for years in Colorado, and it stands about 6 feet, 6 feet
epic.
8 inches, and it's really, really cool, and it's heavy. It puts Gandalf's stuff to shame.
Yeah, this is gonna be your wizard staff.
Yeah, and so, but a narwhal thing would be amazing. Except if you guys didn't know, anything along those lines, be it tusks or horn, anything has been banned from. You cannot buy or sell it on eBay for years. You cannot anything ivory, and apparently narwhal tusks are included. Why wouldn't they be, right? So if anyone knows of one that's just lying around gathering dust, contact me, please.
You want to use it to get chicks, I know. Brag to them about you want to come up and see my narwhal tusk. It's 6 feet.
It's huge.
No, seriously. You guys look up narwhals. They are absolutely, and there's only one type of them, and yeah, they're basically unicorn whales. So
I love that.
So somebody could pack it in a big sort of suitcase, like a musical instrument case.
Oh, you can ship them to people. No, it's not that. You just can't.
Aren't they illegal?
You can't sell them. No. Like I could give.
Oh.
I've got some ivory pieces in the other room. From my big game days on the Serengeti, and I could give. I'm totally making that up. I could give those away to people, but I can't go on eBay and post it. You even post something like that, it's like, oh, hey, ivory ashtray. Oh no, gone. Your account's probably wiped out. So.
I did try to sell a skull of an ex-boyfriend once and got in trouble with the law.
Really?
But,
really?
It was weird. I don't understand why.
Was that the one that you said you were eventually going to drink blood out of it? That one? Yeah.
Yeah, but I did then, since I told you.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Just fueling the fire. But hey, if you get a narwhal tusk, that sounds epic. I love that when you get into flat Earth, you can now unicorns can be real apparently in the biblical cosmology world. I don't know if you've heard about that. So narwhals are the unicorns of the sea, but actual unicorns might be real too, which I thought was.
Well, that's just it. Again, why? So unicorn whales, totally fine. Unicorn horses? Oh no, that's just a poster on a girl's wall. That's all you can use it for, right? It's a little figurine. It's a little porcelain thing that's sitting on a 13-year-old's nightstand.
My Pretty Pony, but with a horn.
Did you ever have unicorns, Patricia? I doubt it.
No. I thought they were ugly.
Really?
Not elegant.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, I'm standing up for the unicorns out there. They're gorgeous, and I remember that movie Legend where they killed the last unicorn for the horn, and that broke my heart as a kid.
It is sad, but I didn't like the decor that went with that fairy princessy decor stuff.
Really? You like unicorns, DJ? It's not cliche.
I know. I'm trying to tone it back, everybody. But even
unicorns
are into flat Earth now. I'm sorry about that.
No, and I will end it with I will end the 60 seconds with things that I believe in, right? Things that I believe in that could possibly. And people say, oh, Bigfoot's a myth. It's like, really? Because the Billy ape, which is a 6-foot chimp, you didn't find that till 2005. So don't tell me that there aren't primates out there. Don't tell me you found everything that's out there. Don't tell me that.
Yeah, exactly. That goes into your scientism rant because, hey, now more than ever, people are questioning the science. And when you get to the flat side, you know better. So then these kind of mythical creatures that they want us to act like never existed could be real in this realm. Right. That's why flat Earth is so cool, everybody.
The liger?
Right. I mean, come on. One of my speeches.
That one is more of a evolutionary kind of a roadblock, because what's interesting about the liger is that you can mix a tiger and a lion and you create the liger, and it's this gorgeous beast, but it can't reproduce. Right. So I think that's really interesting about the liger. It's like if evolution is working so hard and survival of the fittest is working so hard, it really does a bad job of pushing something forward that should be able to reproduce, but it's like a donkey, you know what I mean?
Too gorgeous to live.
Like a mule. Most people don't know that a horse can reproduce with a donkey and come up with a mule. They don't know that. It's like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
But it can't reproduce.
Right, but it can't reproduce. So so you don't see tons and tons and tons of mules. Or the fish that I bring up, and people hate that I bring it up, the coelacanth fish, which is like, because they say, why do you bring it up? This fish that should have been extinct for 70 million years and that's swimming all over Africa. I go, because it's the same argument you use for Loch Ness. It's like, there are no plesiosaurs left to swim in any lakes. It's like, really? Because that fish, you were absolutely dead wrong on. So you're pretty solid, though, on the whole plesiosaurs and Loch Ness. You're pretty sure about that. So, whatever.
Dragons could be real. Unicorns are real. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to stand up for the unicorns.
The average person doesn't know that Komodo dragons are real. The Komodo dragons, the ground-based, then they are not afraid of people in the slightest. You've seen the videos of those things chasing people?
Yeah, they'll eat people, and apparently their bite is poisonous, right?
Yeah, they're terrifying. They're absolutely terrifying. Komodo dragons, absolutely awful. And come on, I'll throw one more thing, and then we'll get into the Will Duffy thing, which is the platypus, for example. People have made jokes about that for years. Robin Williams used it in a skit, which is, if the platypus, if the platypus wasn't so easy to find, right? They're all over the place, right? If it was on just some remote island and no one discovered it, and people reported it on all the time and tried to describe it to scientists, they'd be laughed out of the room constantly. Let's face it, God makes some weird shit.
Yeah,
it happens.
Some cool shit.
Well, yeah.
Hey, are you sure your living room's not on fire? It's really getting big right there.
I know, it's really making me nervous.
Oh, well, you guys.
I'm like, whoa. Have you not seen Backdraft? Come on.
Okay, first off, it's the lens is picking up some stuff. I'm shooting lasers through it, so that's probably not helping. And it's within a stone thing. That stone thing, I put some redundancy around it, is in a brass cauldron, and the brass cauldron is sitting on top of a very thick.
What about all that dry straw that's on the ground?
Glass.
Yeah, you're not.
Ignore the box of fireworks that's sitting underneath it. But
that's the finisher. Mark was like, I need to get more attention because I guess these glasses and Patricia's so beautiful that he's gonna have to light his place on fire just to get someone to look at him. That's
pretty much. No, I'm not kidding you. I'm gonna turn it into an old school rock concert before it's over. The next stop is hey, seriously, chat room. If you think I should install a smoke machine in here, you just let me know.
That would be kind of cool, but they smell gross.
Hey,
though.
You know what? I stand by these choices. You know why? And Patricia knows why. Because when we did the first conference, and Patricia was looking so fabulous in her evening gown, the only way I could combat it, and she didn't know, I didn't tell her ahead of time, was to wear the neon glasses, right? Which were the producers like, oh my God, this is nuts. And, they weren't as high tech as DJs. They were just straight up neon glasses.
I know.
And cool. The neon glasses made the movie poster. Straight up. That's what made it. If it wasn't for those glasses, you wouldn't even have seen me on that movie poster. So,
yeah, but thank God Patricia was in that movie because she did kind of give the movement some credibility and glam. So I was like, I needed that. Otherwise, I would have never probably watched the show.
Nice.
But Mark's so adorable that you did inspire me that when you asked me to be a co-host on the show, I was like, well, I'm going to have to come up with something. So by the end of the show, Mark's going to blow up his apartment or house so that way I can finish the show with a bang.
No, I've got a bunch of these.
That flame is getting higher.
You guys, will you stop? I'm not going to get paranoid. Fire has been my friend for my entire life.
It's your friend till it isn't.
No. I'm very careful when it comes to fire. I've got a whole shelf of these things, so
Where's
they're all
the
gonna
shelf?
go up at
Like
once.
right
It's really-
behind it?
What? It's stacked
This is
right
very
over
Game
there.
of Thrones.
No, it's not even that close. I cannot reach it from here. So it looks like my hand's in the flames. It is absolutely not. See? Look
Yeah,
at
he
that.
shows us the bottle of alcohol. He's going to throw it on the fire.
Well, okay, so there's a problem. The only weakness of this, just so you guys know, is if it goes out, when it goes out in, I don't know, 20, maybe 15 minutes, I don't know, because I filled it up pretty high, is when you pour the alcohol in, the stone is so hot, the alcohol immediately boils, starts boiling, but it won't catch fire. So we'll see how it goes. I may not
keep your eye on it.
I may not do it until the end of during the break. So anyway, okay, so let's talk about, thank you guys for thinking of my well-being. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
As much as we
You're
can do
just
this
jealous.
show, we
Both
can't
of you are
do
just
the show
jealous
without you.
queens. They're just like, fine, Patricia's got her perfect. People think Patricia's is a green screen anyway, and DJ's is a green screen. By the way, just so you guys know, and it's like all the kids that are out there doing your podcast, none of us are using green screens right now. This is all real. I mean, me obviously, because there couldn't be a green screen this weird for my stuff.
Yeah.
Including
we are looking out for your safety because honestly, even though we could do this show, we can't do it without you. Let's be honest.
Right,
You're
literally.
the captain. We can't. We all know. I know my limits.
You know, that is famous last words from a lot of people in stagecraft over the years, right? It's like, you're irreplaceable, right? The next thing, it's like, oh, my leg. And it's like, understudy, get in here.
No. You're too quick wit. Your words are just, I'm hanging on to your every word. So, I'm just here to kind of hopefully piece together what you're saying for the viewers out there.
All right.
Well, let me say hello to everyone who's here.
Go ahead.
Or at least as many people that I can, get in a couple seconds. W.C. Davis, hello. Ajax, XOXO Nico, Truth Lover, LaFrance Hart, W.C. Davis, Lowry, of course, and Here I Am is the name of the person. Here I Am. Daryl Davis. Did I already say Daryl? Probably. I did. Repeating. Iron F.E. is here. Gregory May, hello. How are you? Tom Buddhas, Half Tater, Musing in Stereo. Let me scroll up a little bit here and see who else we've got. Lunderground, hey there. Rona Lee Caton and Quaalude Charlie, Flat Eartheric Daily, Commercial Sound and Video, Free Palestine, Nathan Reed, Bali Music Journey. There was somebody else I wanted to say hello. Effie Furniture Zulu 1 is here. I'm the Here is here. And Jerome J. Cox Daz and Rotten Politicians.
Whoa, all right.
So,
hey, I want to shout out Lowry and Nico. I was on the tinfoil sombrero this past weekend, had a great time. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, check it out. I was at the latest episode, and they actually have some really good interviews from a few weeks back, like with the Founded Earth Brothers, and Dave Weiss has popped on there. Mark's been on there. So thank you so much for having me.
Cool.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you were on. That's very cool.
I know. I felt so bad because Nicole asked me, she says, make sure you show up and chat. And I didn't see a reminder. I didn't bookmark it, but I will watch the replay, I swear.
Aw, no problem. I mean, it was great to share a little bit more of my journey, which I'm still kind of coming to terms with, guys. Even on Strange World, you're like getting to know me as I basically come out of the Flat Earth closet. Yeah. And so I really appreciate them taking the time to and it just feels like I'm making friends. And so I'm just so grateful to be part of the Flat Earth family. So thank you.
Okay, let's get to the main topic of the night, other than Scientism and the Secret Show, which will be starting next Wednesday. Next Wednesday with Patricia and I, going old school. And we've already set up the screens. Patricia and I went through the painful process because Patricia is actually streaming it using her own streaming software.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing.
If you know anything about Patricia, not the
I don't like technology.
No,
I love technology. I just like somebody else to set it up for me.
Exactly. There was a reason why she had the nerds carry her books home from school back in the day. And these were the audio-visual guys. You never had to carry a book once, did you?
Well, I just mean people were just trying to be nice.
Stutter more on that answer. Go ahead, stumble more there.
Well, I'm sure she had to a few times, Mark. Let's be real.
And hated every second of it. Damn it.
Who needs books anyway?
They're going to do the homework for you. Anywho, right?
Yeah.
You probably had to take a number to hold the books.
Okay, so let's talk about, because I do want to go into this at least till the break. We got time. I want to talk about at least most of the time before the break. I want to talk about the Will Duffy thing, which is, and I'm not going to say the name. I'm not even going to justify it by saying the name because it's not a final anything. I was telling DJ before the show, one of my pet peeves is people that create things that think they're new. And it's like, I gotta remember, Patricia and I have been doing this for going on 10 years. Eric DeBay's been past the 10-year mark. David Weiss is going to hit the 10-year mark. So is Jaron and all those guys. And so, yes, I will say this. I did not watch the video. I don't have to. Yes, I was, because he sent me a text. I'm not going to read it. I was invited to the to do the Antarctic experiment down with Jaron and Whitsitt. He's going to be flying down there. MC Toon's going to be there. And, who's the photographer, DJ, that you want me to eventually deal with?
Dave McKeegan.
Dave McKeegan, sorry, from the UK. The Click Chaser, the photography channel that decided, oh, hey, I get more hits if I do Flat Earth videos. Fantastic. And anti-Flat Earth videos. So,
I know, but I watch his videos a lot, so don't worry. We'll have our responses.
Yeah, believe that. We will. But Click Chaser is like, look, every one of these channels, in the beginning, Patricia remembers back in the day, there were no troll channels. It was just us, and we were rolling, absolutely crushing people. And
one of the first ones was the concave Earth guy, Lord Stephen Christ.
Oof, yeah,
remember?
Yeah, I'm not going to say what happened to him in the end because it's just dark and horrible.
And then that guy who went by the name of Tim Osman.
Right.
Not Infinite Plane Society Tim Osman,
yeah,
but the other one who went by the name of Tim Osman, who said he was a flat earther, and then he switched to the globe.
Right.
I don't know if any of that's true, but he was one of those. And then there was a few others.
So
and they grew, and they're still here. And this whole situation with a big thing coming up that's supposed to destroy flat Earth, and that never does, has happened many times, and many times we've weathered the storm.
Oh, yeah.
However, if there was information that were to come that would put flat Earth to bed, I'd be more than happy to tuck flat Earth in and say goodnight and goodbye. Sure. I'm not afraid of the truth.
Right.
If there was something that were to show me I'm wrong, then bring it on, definitely. But no matter what happens in December in Antarctica, to me, that is not the death or the success of flat Earth. If the 24-hour sun is not seen by Whitsitt, Jaron, and the rest of the people there, it's no cause for celebration.
Right.
Just the same way it is no cause for the Globers to celebrate if there is a 24-hour sun. It's an observation of something. Right. And that's pretty much it. It's an interesting observation. And I think it's great that it's going to be done. But it's not because I want to hold on to flat Earth regardless. It's because, like you say, Mark, what's going on up in the sky isn't a representation of what's happening here on the ground. Right. So
I've got a number of different ways I can approach this, and I'll pick a couple. One would be, and you guys have heard me say this is nothing new for me. I'm not going to lose an ounce of sleep because I've been addressing this since 2015. 1 out of every 10 interviews I've done, which means at least 50, have said, it's like, oh, what do you think the weakest aspect has ever been, technically for the flat Earth? I go, oh, it's the Antarctic sun. Has to be. Because
I've heard you say this, so I still want to hear how you get around it.
Many times. Well, one is, if it's a 24-hour sun, 24-hour sun in the Arctic Circle, great, easy, piece of cake. 24-hour sun with a single light source in Antarctica, very, very, very tough to do unless you're using some really weird optics. But as David Weiss is fond of saying, and I'm fond of saying it too, which is we have no idea what's going on in the sky. You're making some massive assumptions about the sun itself. I treat it similar to the sticks and shadows argument, which is like, oh yes, because people bring that up. Oh, sticks and shadows argument. That proves the globe, even though most people don't understand it. It's like, well, yeah, it works, but it works. Also, if the sun is very, very small and very, very close, it works the exact same. You can do this optically with a flashlight and a little vertical stick off the ground anytime you want. And Antarctica, oh God, where can I go with this? Antarctica, I wouldn't even go if you want to. Why go to Antarctica if you want to prove a point? Go to the equator and do a time lapse. And I know you can't. No one's going to sit there with a time lapse because you can't see it with the naked eye of the star trails going in separate directions at the equator simultaneously. which leads me to, it's like, we have no idea what's happening in the sky. And you say, well, yes, we do. I go, really? Do you? Or are you talking about NASA? And by that, I mean the United States military.
Right. So true.
And sorry, one more thing, which is also, this is my big point here, which is, and you've heard this, DJ, from listening to my interviews. When people say, what would get you to give up flat Earth? I go, oh, there's two things. One would be either video of a camera on a rocket pointing down when the rocket leaves orbit and the Earth turns into a globe. It's never happened in the history of space travel, ever. Statistically impossible. It should have happened. And the other is, and which is a challenge I put out there for at least 4 years, and again, this would be cheaper than bringing these guys to Antarctica, is loan me a spacesuit from any era, because they all worked perfectly. Put me in a vacuum chamber, pull the switch.
Tell me how you live.
Right.
How do you live, Mark?
That's a twofer. That's a 2-for-1, guys. Not only would you possibly prove the globe, but you'd knock me off at the same time. Although if I die a martyr. Now, wouldn't I?
How do you live in that situation?
How
Let's
do I live? No one even tried. And there are vacuum chambers in different universities. So why didn't you try? Sorry, last point, and I'll let DJ chime in, which is the Antarctic sun, which is why, again, the people say, well, what these things, what would prove the globe to you? It's like the Antarctic sun wasn't even in my top 10. The Antarctic sun does not change anything about every space organization and every space program, right? Everything, including physics, like gravity, and everything that's tied to physics. And it especially doesn't cover or change anything that drags most people into flat Earth. And that's where you guys made your mistake. Most people get into flat Earth because of long distance photography and the curve. It doesn't address any of those things. Nobody gets into flat Earth. I mean, nobody. I have never heard of it ever because of the Antarctic sun, believing that it doesn't exist. Nobody ever does that. It's almost always the curve, and then it's NASA, and then it's physics. Those are the three things. So, sorry, last part, I swear, which is, you don't want me. I am the last guy you want to take down there, because if you're looking for a reaction, because you guys are just reaction channels, that's all you are, right? You're just reacting to flat Earth. We were the creators. You guys are reaction channels. I'm not going to give you the reaction you want. And you're going to browbeat me the entire time I'm there. It's like, oh, aren't you upset? Isn't this doing? Like, no, not at all. In fact, I said this years before you even thought. I was the first people that even inspired people to think about the Antarctic sun. Whatever. Anyway, DJ, what's your opinion?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts, but I guess it's a relief to hear that it's not a death blow to flat Earth, in your opinion. But I'm curious, do you think they're going to see a 24-hour sun or not?
They might.
I think they might.
They might.
Yeah.
And I say this because I have talked to, I'll go back all the way to, Patricia was there for the Nat Geo thing that we did back at the Salton Sea. I talked to a photographer there, a guy that I hung out with quite a bit, and I ended up trusting him. He's like, dude, I could have sworn that I saw the 24-hour sun. The problem with the 24-hour sun is most people down there assume that it happened because nobody stays up for the 24 hours, right? And if there's any cloud cover at all, they go to bed. It's like, oh, hey, I saw the sun. I went to bed. I got up. It was still there. That's like, well, okay, well, you didn't watch it for 24 hours. You got to remember, this is going to be kind of a pain in the ass test anyway, because you're going to have to stay up for 24 hours and hope to God there isn't any cloud cover. Because if there's cloud cover, then you got some problems, right? Especially if the clouds hit the horizon. Then you're like, okay.
And it's going to be cold.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
And we don't know what they're plotting. Hello, I thought last week's episode was so great. So if anyone missed it, go check it out, because we do get into this with Dave Weiss. And it's like, we don't know what they're planning. A couple of things that I think are interesting. Number one, they could drop people off and say it's Antarctica, but you're really in the Arctic. So we're not going to know for sure, right? They could be plotting. They could be trying to figure out how to fake a second sun down there just for this publicity stunt. Or third, we don't know exactly how this place works, like you said. And if God's light is shining through the firmament, maybe there's a reflection that's coming off of, as it's projected through the firmament and shining in our viewpoint, where it looks like it's a second sun, but it's really not. It's just where the light is entering the glass.
Yeah.
And then
look at Mark's fire there behind him. There's
let's check in.
Literally, there's a fire, and then behind the fire is a reflection of the fire. And what I'm saying is that, it looks almost like there's two. Looks like there's three suns in a way right now, just looking there.
Right. There's nothing weird. You guys
we know there's only one fire.
You guys say it's really bright, but it's like, no, camera's right here, fire's right there. There's nothing spectacular for me. But granted, it's shining off the glass. But
Right.
But to DJ's
Well,
point,
people say the dome could be something like that.
Go ahead, DJ.
Right.
Go ahead.
And you pulled your hand out of the fire. I was just thinking of like Dune. But you lived.
I did. I did.
You lived.
It was the box, the fire of pain, which most fire is anyway. But yes,
is that what's happening in that box? Is it fire? Do you think?
No, it's it isn't. It's completely psychological. That's all it is.
Psychological,
It's
yeah.
nerve. They called it, was it nerve induction? Where it's stimulating the nerves without, honestly, I'd still think there'd be nerves damage, but whatever. Sorry, to answer your question from earlier, DJ,
Yeah, go ahead.
how I got around the whole Antarctic sun was, it's like, because all I have to do is like, well, and again, remember, I come from the software world, and it's like more than one light source. It's fine. You make more than one light source. The whole thing's an illusion anyway. It's just stagecraft. So, all right.
Shouldn't this be settled by now? That's what I'm finding so confusing. Have people tried already looking into this? Like, how?
Well, yeah. Again, there are people, scientists that have said this for years. They're treating what gets me is that the trolls now are treating it like it's brand new. The only reason this is getting any traction at all, one, because Will Duffy is putting a new label on it. It's a new sticker, and saying, "Oh my God, we're doing something like nobody's ever done before." What are you talking about? People have been talking about this forever. You just haven't made a point. Calling it, and again, I'm going to be careful with my words here, calling it the final, right? Where did you start? We were the ones that were doing all the experiments. You guys didn't do anything. So this final thing, now, I know that some of our people say, well, if they do this, they're going to use this as the sticking point for a while. And it's like, yeah, okay, fine. If they use it as a sticking point, at least it'll be a change up from the Jaren laser thing. From the documentary.
True. And the Bob gyroscope.
Or the Bob gyroscope thing.
Or you and the button thing.
Or me and the button thing, which was
that one's so mean.
which was straight up editing, but I allowed it. It was like, you know what? It got laughs. I saw it got a solid laugh. And did it make me look potentially bad? Sure, but again, remember, it was the power of editing. And but
looking back, I mean, Patricia posted about it, which I thought was really great that you kind of shared your thoughts on your page, Patricia. And I saw it right away. I was like actually watching the Secret Show, and then you said that because that has been on my mind. And one reason why I'm here is just because like I know how that made you guys look. It was such a hit piece looking back, and I think that's where it's like a badge of honor at this point that you guys were a part of that, and it's just. This is not going to disprove flat Earth for anyone that's out there kind of trying to figure this out right now and worried about anything. Like, are you falling for something that is a psyop and you're just going to be embarrassed? This isn't the end in that regard.
There's too many things that point to flat Earth. That this one thing is a cause to say the map. Then there's something up with the map, or there's something up with the way the sun works that we don't understand. And there's a guy who was on with Will Duffy today. Yesterday was the Will Duffy video that he dropped on the 16th saying he was trying to get Mark Sargent to be part of the Antarctic sun observation experiment. But today he had a guy on who has made the dome with the big glass, you know what I'm talking about, the dome, Joe Hanvey.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm pronouncing his last name, Hanvey.
Okay.
It's a really good video if you can get through the whole Will Duffy personality. But because Joe gets on there and he explains the ways that he's able to model the way the sun works over Antarctica, and that the flat Earth thing is fine, and that even if the 24-hour sun is seen, and he thinks it might be seen, that it doesn't change anything. And he really did a great job encapsulating it. And I know I've heard Jaren say that any flat earther who says that if a 24-hour sun is seen, they go ahead and say, oh, just because a light in the sky does something doesn't have anything to do with the Earth, is being dumb and being just like a glober. I understand what Jaren is saying, essentially, that we can't just be like a globe person and just ignore all the proofs of flat Earth, because they do all. You show them ISS footage, they're like, oh yeah, but here's an explanation of why they're like doing flips on wires, whatever they do. We all know what they do. Jaren's right about that. We can't just ignore, but no one's saying that we should ignore. It's a rethink. It's a moment to rethink and recalibrate. And I think in the end, sometimes There are things that never will be understood nor able to be explained. But Globers say, well, the globe explains it all just fine. Well, that's great, Globers and everyone. If you believe that there's an explanation for everything, explain to me how nothing can explode and become everything. Where's the part before?
Right.
I'm not talking about the evolution you think happened after the explosion. I'm talking about how did nothing explode? Go. And you're done.
Well,
you can't.
They still need the miracle event. They still need that miracle event, and that invokes divinity. And the Earth might be far more intricate and amazing, again, unicorns, than what the heliocentric model can come up with. I mean, sorry, it doesn't default back to that model just because we don't understand how this light source is working. And unfortunately, my globe friends who may watch this or may not, and what I'm dealing with personally is people distancing themselves from me when it comes to these kinds of topics that don't want to go there, that it's like, you're not going to believe anything, are you? And it's like, actually, I know more about the heliocentric model than you probably do, and I'm not bragging about that. It's because I've had a natural interest growing up, but on top of it, I really looked into it, and when you're missing 96% of the matter, and you have to call it dark matter, and then you can't detect it, but it's there, trust us, and you have to, again, getting back to Marx scientism, trust them on every step of the way of what the model is doing.
Gravitons? I mean, what's that?
Yeah, it's, again, putting faith into something that you don't really know if it's true or not entirely. And it's as far as my investigation goes, it is not true. So I would rather not know what the flat model is doing in its entirety than believe a lie.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And again,
I do think that Jaron and Whitsitt are very brave to be going there, and really cool that they're doing it. I'm glad that two people like them are the ones that are going, and I don't think it's bad or wrong that they are going.
No.
Some flat earthers say it's a trap.
I'm glad that two of them are going because, I mean, one of the reasons, I mean, come on, flat earthers and globalists, and round earthers, right? Flat earthers and round earthers don't mix. They never have. And that trip, would I go with an all flat earth cast? Sure. But having trolls, dedicated round earth trolls, for an extended trip like this, that's a nightmare. Thank God Whitsitt and Jaron are going to be hanging out together and, circling a very small set of wagons. Who knows? Maybe they'll run into some of our people down there. You never know. But sorry, short version is you can't, there is no silver bullet for flat earth now. And if there was going to be one, it would have happened back in 2015 or 2016 at the latest. I mean, come on. Between David and I, we've done pushing 2,000 interviews, and nobody's, I mean, yes, there have been producers that have said, every once in a while one will suggest going to Antarctica, not because of the 24-hour sun, but just because of all the other stuff that's swirling around Antarctica, and I talk them out of it every time. Not because I want, because I think, oh my God, we're going to be discovered. It's like, no, it's a terrible place to shoot. Ask anybody, it's like, no, it's white on white on white. Photographer, no, you guys are going to figure that out really quick. McKeegan, my God.
And just cold and miserable.
It's horrible. It's a horrible place.
But in a way, it's cool that they're going because very small percentage of people on Earth have ever been there.
Yes.
So I think,
and penguins are my favorite animal. That is a DJ curious.
Aside from unicorns.
Right.
Well, the unicorns are mythical, right? But maybe they're real. But I've never seen one in real life, so at least penguins I know for sure.
And to address Patricia's post that she sent me about the Admiral Byrd thing, about the 24-hour sun thing with the Admiral Byrd video, right?
Which is on your channel.
Which is on my channel. It's like, yeah, it was one of the original clues.
Did Admiral Byrd say there was a 24-hour sun? I think so in a video that's on your channel.
If he did on the Longines chronoscope, then first off, nobody even brought it up until 10 years later. That's how easy it was missed. Plus, he also said a bunch of other stuff that was about Antarctica that worked in our favor. But the point there was, outside of that, which was Admiral Byrd talking about it, I'd done, 1,500 videos on my channel? Not once did I do anything. I hardly touched Antarctica at all because it just wasn't that interesting. To you guys' point, nobody goes there. It is the least traveled place in the world. And so why would I, again, which is why, and I know some of our people are saying, this could change things. It's like, look, don't forget that when the whole Jaron laser thing happened in the documentary, most people, and I mean 99% of the people, didn't even understand it. They just knew it was bad. They couldn't explain it for themselves. You think the general public's going to grasp this? new because they haven't grasped it up until now. This thing should have been brought up time. In fact, I brought up, when I bring it up in interviews, right? When I say, oh yeah, our sun, right? Resonates with no one. They do not process it. So
True. Again, they don't understand how the solar system works or the heliocentric model, therefore. But guys, I can help you out. Because it's a ball and you can see the sun on one side, you should see the sun equally in the South Pole. But if there is no South Pole, then it might not exist the way that we would assume. So again, we just don't know what's going to happen. But what I do think would be fun to touch on is what happens if they don't see the 24-hour sun.
Well, if they do, well, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen because the trolls are in such denial that like anything. I mean, come on, how many
Will Duffy would not be organizing this if
he thought he would lose.
He thought he would lose.
Yeah. So
the cockiness and confidence shows
if they lose,
he knows somebody who knows somebody who's seen it and can vouch for being there.
They will backtrack no different than they did with the coelacanth fish. The coelacanth, when they finally slapped it on a lab table, it's like, oh yeah, 70 million years extinct, and then the scientists had to say, oh well, it's a living fossil, and it's an evolutionary state of stasis. It just hasn't changed in 70 million years. It's like, oh okay, so you're gonna wave this one off. Yeah, they'll wave it off, and they'll say, well, something else was going on. Who knows?
But it would be cool if it worked out that way, but I don't think so. I think it'll be 24-hour sun. Boom. But yeah,
is that the flat side stance on this then, that there is a 24-hour sun? Because I've seen Terry Eicher, great content, Flat Out Truth, shout out to him. Dave Weiss has like 60 videos on Antarctica, and basically what you gather from that information is that they're not going to see it. So
well, a lot of people, Jaron says he doesn't think they're going to see it. I don't know. I'm just looking at Will Duffy's confidence and just using that as my
parameter
and saying maybe he knows something.
Why wouldn't Jaron say that, by the way? Because you got to remember, between he and David, because they spent a lot of time on this years ago, where they showed the footage that clipped. Right, it would show it to a certain point, and then all of a sudden the shadows would jump forward, like there were hours that were missing. And then when Jaron,
and then they said they turned the camera off,
right, or they didn't have the bandwidth to record everything and transmit everything. It's like, these are the lamest excuses ever
these days in modern times. No,
so they created an air of suspicion that, of course, I get it. It just wasn't one of my favorite things.
Maybe the air of suspicion was created on purpose, since I'm a conspiracy person, in order so that flat earthers in the future could be ground into the dust. Of course, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe, but it took a long time, Patricia. And look, 9 years, 10 years.
Long con game.
10 years on the internet, 10 years making content is a lifetime. We can't even, it's hard to even measure it because social media has been created in the last 10 years, really has developed in the last 10 years. We've created so much content out there that we're everywhere. We're on every platform. We're the topic, that we're a subject that's covered all the time. So if you wanted to snuff us out, I said this a long time ago, if you wanted to snuff us out or stunt us, you should have done it, and they could have done it a long way before the 2018 thing when they took down the scoreboard. They could have been software. Right. They could have changed the algorithms to where we didn't show up in searches. We just vanished into nothing, and they didn't. So to wait 10 years to what? Sorry, one more thing for DJ. If they don't see it, here's the flip side of this. It doesn't help us that much either, believe it or not, because the flip side is the general public's still not going to get it. Right. Either way, whether it's for or against, you're going to say, hey, they either saw the 24-hour sun or they didn't see the 24-hour sun, fill in the blank, right? And the general public's going to do this. They're going to go, and? But don't you know what that means? No.
Well, I have a lot of hopes for this. I mean, on it, like we said before, we're going to pray for those people, pray for Austin. I hope that Austin and McKeegan can become friends, and then Austin can kind of just convince him, and then maybe they don't see it, and then McKeegan flips to this side. It's like I'm waiting for the tide to shift where these trolls start to realize that they have nothing to defend and start to pour into this side. I mean, when do you think that's going to happen?
Oh, I don't know. Right yet. I mean, right now, you got to remember,
happening. That should be happening, right? All these debates, all these people that are they just?
It is, but the peer pressure, Ash experiments, all that stuff is still applied. Peer pressure is still one of the most powerful forces out there in the social world. And again, the whole Red Rover. Who wants to break ranks?
I know that's why it's brave to be over on this side, and you guys inspired me to show the face on this thing, but. I love that Austin's not nervous about this. I mean, maybe not in the sense of seeing the 24-hour sun or not. He doesn't think he's going to see it. Now he may be nervous going because who knows what these people are really plotting.
Austin shouldn't be nervous because he's got so many bullets in his belt. I mean, you've heard him talk. He's got so much ammunition stored in his head that even if it does, it's like, all right, well, fine. I mean, yeah, it would if it doesn't go in our favor. Is that a plot hole? Sure. But like I tell people,
I think it's all in our favor. The truth, whatever the truth is the thing that needs to be found. So we need to see it. At
the very least, the metrics will help us, which is why I'm kind of torn. It's like I kind of want mainstream to jump on this, kind of like they did with the Flat Earth Cruise.
Candace Owens, though, is in the news regarding this.
Yep, I saw that.
Will Duffy talked to her recently, and he put this on a video. And in the video, he was he played some kind of montage. I'm not sure if Candace's people made it or Will Duffy made it.
No, he made it. Well, she made part of it, and then he kind of helped edit things on his side as well.
Right, and it was a bit deceptive, regardless of who made it.
She's not going.
Okay, she's not going, of course, but she might send somebody down there to be an observer to report back to her. But she was saying that she's very glad that Will Duffy's doing it, and let's put this to rest because flat earthers have been talking about Antarctica, for a very long time as the place that will prove whether or not. And then the clips were played, and none of the clips of flat earthers and globe earthers mentioned the 24-hour sun. They were all clips about that, how flat earthers always say that you're not allowed to travel freely there. You're allowed to travel there, but not freely, wherever you want. Let's do a month-long expedition and I'll trek through the ice. Not allowed. But she played this clip that Will made or that she made, whoever.
Right.
It's deceptive because the way the clip's introduced with sort of neuro-linguistic programming or something, it makes you think that flat earthers have been saying the 24-hour sun is the one linchpin that brings the whole thing down. Right. And then the clip's played, and none of the people in the clip say that. They're only talking about the going to Antarctica.
I have never said it. 10 years, never even consider it to be. Again, after doing this so long, you have to, which is why, again, the experiments, like you won't even put a dent in my armor unless you throw me in a vacuum chamber, period. And that sounds
tell me how I live.
Yeah.
Tell me how he lives, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, and that's saying something. I'm not kidding you. This is not a boast. It's like, throw me in a freaking vacuum chamber with a spacesuit, and before you pull the switch, tell me how it works. Tell me how this whole system works, and you're not gonna be able to. I know how they cheat. They try to throw me in a G-force suit, and I'd be like, nope, not gonna happen. So.
Well, that guy Joe Hanvey, who was on an interview on Will Duffy's channel today, and has his own channel, who's made those glass bowls where I've mentioned him earlier. Right. Everyone probably knows who I'm talking about. Who did a great job on Will's show today. He was saying that he would only believe, the only proof that he would ever take would be one of those sort of, I guess it was a balloon or something that goes really high that you can go on himself. I'm not going to be believing some footage I see. No. I'm not going to get on a rocket for sure. Ridiculous. I mean, that's death wish time.
Right.
I get the camera on the
rocket,
the top of a
down.
rocket.
Yeah.
I'd love that, but I still wouldn't see that as proof with all the ways that they can do kind of CGI now. Who knows?
Well,
they'll be eventually putting a camera on the top of a rocket because it will all be fake soon for sure.
Like Elon Musk had the perfect chance to blow everything out of the water. He could have ended it right there, for most of the general public with the Roadster in space. There were 3 HD cameras, and the thing was spinning right with this severe curve, and it's like, oh, hey, we're going to send it to Mars, which is a topic that will come up in the second segment when we do headlines. And they just turned off all the cameras. They said, well, it's going off to Mars now. It's like, why'd you turn the cameras off? And it's like, oh, well, yeah, batteries and reasons and stuff. It's like, so there have been other people that have tried silver bullets. This isn't even one that I would consider in the top 5. Not even
the rocket. I mean, the Tesla in space itself was a silver bullet for the globe because it was ridiculous. Right. Supposedly, that Tesla
or the Red Bull
was
jump.
not out. outfitted. Yes, the Tesla wasn't outfitted in any way with special equipment for space. It had regular tires on it, regular everything. And, we're told space is very hard, space is very harsh, it's very hot, it's very cold.
Right.
That car wouldn't have been able to handle it. People's cars freeze up. Of course, it's not a car running with an engine and stuff, but it had all the fluids in it and everything, supposedly. How was that? How?
Yeah.
No.
This, again, we will see. So anyone...
Will Duffy's coming off very slimy. I also am not worried about it because, you know what? I trust the Bible. Shocking, everyone, but it's true. And it says there's one sun and one moon. Now, could there be optical illusion? Could this place be, like I said before, God's realm? Yes, I think that's the case. So I'm not worried about it either.
Let me before we...
Crow 777 says he thinks there might be 3 suns, but that also could be reflections.
You never know. When it comes to, before we go to break, I want to throw one more thing out. This is the biblical side. This is for DJ, which is I treat this no different. Because remember, Will Duffy is supposedly a pastor, right? Which is weird because he doesn't bring it up much in any of the videos I've watched him do. And
he's not carrying himself like one, nor is he even quoting scripture at all to kind of see like as his biblical journey. It's just coming off so evil.
Right.
Sorry, it's coming off evil.
So I treat it no different than I do the only Bible verse that every pastor tries to latch onto, which is Isaiah 40:22. Right? He who sitteth upon the circle of the earth. If
we know circle's not ball.
But that's my point. My point is, what if it was? What if somebody said, I can prove that the translation is wrong and it actually means ball or globe or sphere? Even if you could, right? That verse does not carry enough weight to negate the entire rest of the Bible. Which is why Rob Skiba did that wonderful website called testingtheglobe.com. I highly recommend. So anyway, short.
Me too. Shout out to Rob. He was awesome. He's a huge part of my education on this and awakening.
And by the way, why isn't Will Duffy, again, being a pastor, why isn't he going after the biblical angle first? Because he can't. He absolutely can't. It's like, okay, so again, practice what you preach. Little play on words there. Which is, you should be angling towards the Bible, but you have nothing there. So you're going after the most low-hanging fruit. You're sensationalizing it. You're turning it into clickbait, and you're slapping stickers on it that make no sense. So one last thing before we go to break.
And Joe Hanvey also comes from a biblical perspective. So he was a person speaking with Will Duffy on Will's channel, and he appeared to be more biblical than the pastor
himself,
who's hosting the show.
If anyone in the Flat Earth community has any doubts or questions, or they wanna, because we're going to be talking about this more between now and December, provided civil unrest doesn't kick in November, which we'll talk
and that fire in Mark's background.
And the fact, I will wait until after the break, and I'll light it for you guys. I will pour it in there, and I will light it, and then run around, flames all over me. Which is, anyone has any doubts, please reach out to me. Give me an email. Don't text me, please. I don't answer texts. And Will, you should know that if you've watched any of my stuff, which you obviously haven't. msargent23 at comcast.net. That's msargent 23 at comcast.net. And people are going, oh my God, you use Comcast? You're so old. It's like, really? Because I used to be an America Online forum consultant. That's how far back I go. That is a long way, kids. But yeah, if you have any doubts, please reach out to me. Shoot me an email. Drop me a phone call and say, hey, call me back. I've got questions and whatever. It's like, look, I'll talk to you about it. I will not lose a wink of sleep over it. My only concern, honestly, is that Jaron and Whitsitt do that trip safely and they return to us unharmed. That's the only thing I care about. Everything else that happens down there, well, and yes, if there was some sort of weird accident where all the trolls fell into an ice hole and were covered up with snow, that'd be awful. That would be awful. But I would mourn them. Yes, I would. All right. So, kind of like when I wish that Jake Paul would slip and fall in 5 or 6 bullets. Okay. We're going to our first break. And when we come back, we're going to do some headlines. We've got a few of those, and talk about all sorts of fun stuff. So, and by the way, figure out what the chat room's saying about whether there's any burning questions. And
I've been looking here and there. Anytime I'm looking down like this, I'm looking at the chat room.
I'm hoping this first break is still good.
Introducing the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock App Meetup Maker. Never miss another meetup again. You can look up meetups in several different ways. Sort by date. You can search by location or within a 500-mile radius. To create and list your own meetup, enter the date. Give the meetup a name, a location name, add a photo, enter your contact information, create a group chat name, and then fill out the description with all of the details. Select your background color and hit the Save button to add your meetup to the list. Once the meetup is saved, it will ask you to create a group chat for all of the meetups so people can join the group and start a local chat community. Select Public Group, add your welcome message, and your meetup is now available for all to see. To make sure you don't miss another meetup in your area, you can select your desired radius and whether you want push notifications or email or both. Whenever a new meetup is added in your selected radius, you get notified. The Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock Meetup Maker, bringing people together all around the plane.
Join me, Karen B, every moon day at 9:30 a.m. for Coffee Talk on YouTube, Rumble, and Rockfin. You never know what you'll learn about in the coffee shop. Open topic and open phones, y'all. You can also go to flatearthfestivals.com for updates on the latest news for Flattoberfest 2024 and also for meetups, local meetups. If you want to have your meetup listed on flatearthfestivals.com for free, please email flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 2 of 2. It's you, me, the always perfect Patricia Steere, and the always delightful DJ Curious. What's your thing? What's your thing say?
It says porty time, like portal time.
Oh, porty time. Nice.
Porty time.
Nice. Okay, before we get to headlines, in fact, let me make sure I get the headlines up on the screen. Let's see if we can pull this up. And what I do is I turn on the thing and
and check your Dome coin if you have the app and to see if you got any. You're going to have to put the coin name in your MetaMask. I still haven't done it. I have a MetaMask. I just haven't done it. But anyway, you got some Dome if you were involved with all of that. And if not, and if you don't like it, and if you think it's bad, if you think it's shady, then don't do it.
Okay, while we're reading the headlines, I'm not going to distract people with the flame, but right after we're done with headlines,
oh no,
I will.
This story.
Oh yeah, so
just makes me want to punch someone in the face.
These were some of the headlines. Some of them I collected when David Weiss was on.
This is good. This footage.
Yeah. So it's
good for us.
I'm gonna play some of this. So the billionaire completes first private spacewalk, through SpaceX. So even though the Boeing Starliner astronauts, including Sunita or whatever her name is,
Sunita, how's your vacation going?
Shintastic. They're trapped up there, and they were supposed to be rescued by SpaceX, but we're not going to do that till after Christmas because there's unlimited food and water and resources and oxygen and nitrogen and all this stuff.
And Santa does come to the ISS.
Oh, I'm sure someone will put up Christmas. That'll be, by the way, that's a plot hole. Think tank guys, don't send up Christmas stuff to the ISS because people will say like, well, how'd you get the Christmas stuff there and didn't get the astronauts down? Huh?
Right.
How'd you do that?
Right.
So let me see here. We can play some.
They could go ahead with the plot hole. Nobody would notice. Nobody would care.
So
They're like, well, we had it in storage, duh. Just like every attic has a Christmas box, so does the ISS.
So this is outstanding footage, if you guys can see that. We're looking at the inside of the capsule. Nothing could be fake there. It's very short. It's not even a minute long.
Oh my gosh, I believe in space.
I know,
Sorry.
I know. I've seen Jaron do space shots. Look, there's the globe of the Earth, right? And notice no stars ever. There are no stars in space. Trolls, please address that. It's not an exposure setting. McKeegan, please address that. There's no stars in space ever. Artemis never showed stars because they don't want to deal with the constellations because it's too hard. Let me pause that for you right there. There you go. That's what we saw. We saw a couple shots of the tethering, which is a G-force suit. It's not an actual spacesuit. They say, oh, it's a spacewalk. Absolute fabrication from beginning to end. Why is a billionaire going up there? And one that I've never heard of. With what training? Really? You're going to let a billionaire just do a spacewalk on his own? Doubt that, especially with SpaceX. That's a liability issue waiting to happen. But whatever. Billionaire.
Look at our beautiful blue marble. Our home planet.
I can't wait. It looks like he's slow dancing in a second.
Well, no, they're not going to show it on this clip. Sorry.
Oh, no?
No, you're thinking of the other one. I don't know if...
The other one where he's got one arm like cocked.
Yeah,
like
it's
this.
just...
Why?
By the way, pretty impressed. You know, we're not going diversity on this one. This is a big white people convention.
Those are white people.
That's a lot of white people. Right there.
Wow. I forgot what white people look like.
And, I know. And a lot of ears. Holy smokes, man. Tuck those things in. You're going to hit a tripwire with those. I don't think.
But those girls' hair is nice and long. It'll be.
Oh,
great
yeah.
ISS.
Also, long hair, perfectly fine. Eyebrows, perfectly fine. You should have shaved heads. You should be wearing swimming caps. But nope, nobody wants to address it. That it's Hollywood plot hole glossing over. It's like, we're just not going to. If we don't address it, the audience will accept it. That's how it works.
I think these people, look how earnest they look. I really think they do something to their minds, wipe their mind to make them think that they're doing it, or they have a studio that's so foolproof where they feel that they are actually in space doing space stuff.
That seems like more likely to me that these people just feel like they did something, that they actually did it. And you know, that part is interesting. But more importantly is, like, in my friend groups, this came up because people now are paying attention to the footage and being like, well, we know DJ's not going to think it looks real. So I asked them, I'm like, well, what do you guys think? Do you think this looks real? And they're like, yeah. And then, you know, later one pulled me aside and was like, it looks fake as shit. And I was like, well, hey, when you're ready, look into it, you know?
Well, the car in space looks completely fake, and the ISS bloopers all look fake. And that, when I see those, when you see them on the wires, they know they're on wires. When they're handing something to each other, when there's nothing in their hand, when they're using like augmented reality contact lenses, they know they're doing that. So that takes away the whole fact that they think that they're really in space. So those people looking at their faces, I guess they're really straight up liars.
And they were pushing the hype on this was, and you can see by this diagram here, is they were saying this is the closest any people have gotten to the moon since Apollo. Right? So because the ISS supposedly is sitting at 250 miles, the Hubble at 320, and this thing was supposedly at its maximum altitude was 870 miles inside the Van Allen belt. It's like, okay, so we're not going to address that again, even though I've been talking about it for 10 years, which is like, what shielding are you using against any sort of radiation? We don't have any because it's too heavy. Only 3 things, by the way, people out there, trolls, please address it. Gold, lead, a whole bunch of water. That's the only thing that stops radiation.
And the all-new Victoria's Secret models who are obese. That's another story.
Yes. Oh, look, there's the Earth. No, and he said note objects not to scale. It's funny. Anyway, this was a BBC story. I don't want to dwell on this one because it just ticks me off. Okay, this is the one. I want to talk about this for a bit. This is from RT.com, which is Russia Today. Musk reveals timescale for manned Mars mission. Again, you thought the SpaceX thing was ridiculous? Elon's chiming in again. It's like, oh, no, we're absolutely going to Mars. This was the quote of the day, right? Where he said that within 2 years, we're going to send a craft to land on Mars. And a couple of years after that, we will do people.
It's going to be underground, and people will be fooled to think that they are going to Mars.
Yeah.
That's what I think it's going to be. If it's anything at all, it's kick the can down the road and nothing happens, or they're going to fool us with stuff going on underground with some kind of trip that they have to go in that makes it, like those rides on Disney or any kind of ride that makes you feel your senses are shifting. Those movie theaters where the chairs move, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
something
4D.
like, but way advanced.
What was that, DJ? Did you have something?
It's like 4D movie theater or Star Tours simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be fun to kind of ponder for a second just for the viewers, because I think this is interesting of, okay, do these people really know Mark, or do they not know? Like, what do you think? Do you think that these people are being drugged and then put into a situation where it feels like they're in a simulation and they're kind of drugged that way and they walk away from it where they don't feel like they're lying? Like,
you could do it either way. I mean, yes, you could do it like the show, the British show. If you guys haven't seen it, please look it up. Called Space Cadets, what they did some years ago, where they fooled. It was a reality television show where they fooled people into thinking they were part of a British space program, and they had actors. They had plants in there training with them. And in the end, there were like 3 or 4 people that really thought they were in space. They put them in a simulator. And remember, the horrifying climax of the whole series was they wheeled the capsule into a studio audience and had them get out. And they thought they were opening into an Air Force base. And it's like, oh, no. They opened onto a stage. It was like a Black Mirror episode. And you could see the adulation and the terror in their eyes. It's like, oh, my God, we got punked better than anyone ever. I mean, like life-scarring punk type stuff.
Yeah. That happened to Paris Hilton apparently too, where they faked that she was gonna die in a plane crash and she freaked out. So mean, so mean, kind of funny, but so mean. But okay, so it's hard to say then what. This is the part for me, because I wanted to be an astronaut, and so it's a little bit heartbreaking when you realize that these people would have to be lying, but they are usually military, right? So the military personnel, that's what's kind of interesting. Is this billionaire going to come forward and do interviews about this, do you think? And then people are going to be paying attention to his expression, paying attention to, facial cues to see if he's lying. I mean, that's what the flat earthers will be up to.
Well, we will, yeah. And we'll treat them no different than the Apollo astronauts. Do I think they're being brainwashed? No, not necessarily. In a lot of cases, you just say, hey, you're going to fake this. You're going to get a lot of publicity. Just roll with it. Just know we're going to be watching you at all times, and if you screw up, well, then everybody is not going to be there anymore.
Just like those school bang bang things, you just tell the people that are involved that this is for the greater good.
Right.
We're going to act this out, and we're going to put it on TV, and that way there'll be less bang bangs around to hurt children in the future. It's a drill.
People do,
so let's go.
which I talked about in Scientism, and the thing I just did, which was people will do. DJ doesn't, and Patricia wouldn't, and I definitely wouldn't, because again, I know better, because I will never do anything malicious to anyone again in my life. Which is, people for money, people will do a lot of really twisted stuff. I mean, stuff that really bends the morality scale and ethics.
Well, so this is the one that makes flat earthers look bad, though, because I watched the whole thing with the astronauts, and she actually calls home. Her kids are watching on the live stream, and she's reading a kid's book to a bunch of other kids that are in St. Jude's Hospital. So I get how insensitive this is to joke about this as someone who's kind of new to even putting my face and saying that they might not be doing what they're doing. It's like, are they serving a greater evil? And that's how bad it is. And then they're getting compensated for it or not, or I guess it would be better if they just were tricked into it. I mean, that would make me feel better for them, but I don't really know.
I think most of them are doing it for the money.
That in the chat, there's a couple of people saying they're actors. Get that through your head.
If it's a paying gig, I mean, again, no different than the military guys. Why would you treat it? As long as they don't, look, they're not going to sleep badly necessarily, because the military guys now act better than the Apollo astronauts, because I think the Apollo astronauts knew. They leveled with them, kind of like the Capricorn 1 astronauts, which is a cautionary tale, which is, it's beyond their pay grade. It's like, you're going to fake this. You don't have the clearance to ask us why. You're just going to fake this, take the money, do the mission, shut up.
But there's no deathbed confessions. You never hear
who are you going to tell? Again,
that's not entirely true, right? Because wasn't it like Edgar Mitchell or somebody, another astronaut whose son came forward with the video saying that his father, but
secondhand. That's about as close as you're going to get. You psychologically profile all your guys, and look, if I was going to do it, if I was going to manage a team, you watch them like absolute hawks. And nowadays, it's really
First question is, How many boosters and vaccines did you take? If they give you a large number, you're like, all right, first step, you've passed to move along to become an astronaut.
But I mean,
not because we need you to be vaccinated, but because you've got the mentality that shows you'll do that.
In the old days, you just tap their phones and you monitor their mail. Now you can watch every piece of data that comes in and out of their lives.
Yeah.
And that's it. So if they even hint, to your point, DJ, if they even hint about going the other way, it's like, I'm feeling pretty guilty about blah, blah, blah. Sorry, again, watch Capricorn 1. I mean, the decision is really quick. You go to them, your handler goes to whoever it is, and you say, yeah, sorry, you're screwing up. Don't do it again. You get one warning, and then that's it. And then all of a sudden, one day you get in a car accident. That's just...
Well, has that happened to astronauts? Like any died suddenly or like tragic accidents? Is that you've heard of
No.
In the original, the one that was the lemon.
Well, yeah, Buzz Aldrin. I'm sorry.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
it wasn't Buzz Aldrin. It was... Oh, crap. Chat room, help me out. Who was the guy that's put the lemon on the thing? It was...
Only a flat earther would know.
Oh,
flat
earthers is telling me who was the astronaut that did the lemon. I'm not going to...
I'll read.
Not going to type it in. But
we have a delay on our
they'll know here pretty quick. But
those the three that died in a fire.
Yes,
yes.
Yeah, and it
That's
was
a
Gus
crazy
Grissom. Gus Grissom. That's who it was.
Yes.
Okay, so Gus Grissom was a cautionary tale. To your point, all you need is one of those guys. He was the guy that was supposed to be the first man on the moon, right? Gus Grissom. And he was the guy who's like, I don't know what you guys are trying to pull here, but this is not going to work. This system is absolutely, and he wasn't shy about it. He didn't get it. It's like, don't talk about it. Look, it's going to work. And even if it doesn't work, it's going to work. You see what I mean? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. He's like, yeah, I'm not following. And so I don't even know if he died in the capsule, right? Either the capsule blew up on the pad, supposedly, or it didn't blow up on the pad, and they just say it blew up on the pad. But once something like Gus Grissom happens, that just ripples throughout the entire astronaut community, which is like, yeah, dude, Gus Grissom, don't even think about it. Just remember what happened to him. So
I guess his wife felt like it was nefarious up until she died, right?
She did. Absolutely she did. And she had every right to it. He was the only, in all fairness, he probably shouldn't have. Look, I'm talking about from the greater good standpoint. It was a dumb move. It's like, dude, you are the guy. You're the top of the astronaut food chain, and you're telling the American public that it's not working. That's a marketing nightmare. And so...
Well, the first one who got it was Mojo Shop, actually.
Thank you, Mojo.
Sufinelli, Chaser, Tom Budis, Bali Music Journey, Jivins, W.C. Davis, Zulu One, XOX Oniko, and a few other people. So you guys are on it.
Short version of the Musk thing before I move on to this is that they're using the Mars mission to divert away from the moon. And that is the very same guy, Elon Musk, proposed something called the Dear Moon Project back in 2017. I know because I covered it back then, where he said, oh, no, we're going to send this busload of artists, these social influencers, around the moon in 2018. A ridiculous timetable. And then nothing happened. And only this year, 7 years later, they say, so it's not going to happen. The contract ran out between he and the big Japanese investor, the guy who was footing the bill for a lot of this, and they just quietly swept it away. And it was like, oh yeah, Dear Moon Project. So trolls, what happened to the Dear Moon Project? You think you're going to Mars? Tell me what happened to Dear Moon. Nothing happened to Dear Moon. Okay, clickbait title of the week. Saturn's majestic rings will vanish in just 6 months from now. Now, if you're reading that, and by the way, I love the David Weiss little halo thing on the top of Saturn's rings. And by the way, no stars anywhere. They've
been saying this forever.
And Saturn's majestic rings will vanish in just 6 months. It's clickbait because they don't say forever. Because like, wow, that's a big deal. You think this would be kind of a serious story? It's no, because the planet's going to tilt to a certain way to where the rings are going to become two-dimensional and you're not going to see them.
Yeah.
But that's because Earth.com. You want clicks? That's how you get it. That is classic clickbait right there. It's like,
what do you think Saturn is really then?
Just lights on the ceiling. No different than the lights on my ceiling behind me. I could pan up and show you. Or I'm sorry, tilt
But do the
up.
planets all kind of create a geometric pattern over the Earth, and maybe they only are in our viewpoint during certain seasons? Is there any correlation to seasons or any kind of other sign that these wandering stars can give us?
Yes, but again, I'll use the biblical thing, which is the sky is not just signs and wonders. It is a giant, heavily ornamental clock that predates language. That's all it is. It's there for seasons and predicting all sorts of fun things. If you want to have fun, if you have like the heads up, kind of like the movie Apocalypto, it's like if you know when an eclipse is coming and the population doesn't, oh man, can you have some fun with that? You could give yourself huge credibility. Once you figure it out, again, the old scholars knew it from a long time ago. You stare at the sky long enough, you're going to figure out where things move around, and you can tie it to seasons and special things. Which I don't even want to get into the moon and the whole gravitational tide thing, but no, the moon's not a 2,000-mile wide object that's giving off gravitation, nor is it a very tiny object giving off huge gravitational waves, which, by the way, gravitational waves are all theory. Okay, let's get off the space stuff. Let's get into some fun stuff. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. Excuse me. This is TMZ, obviously the greatest journalist in the world. Taylor Swift back in the game. She's back in the NFL. So this isn't just a one-off, folks. We are doing this for multiple seasons because it worked so well last year. Again, teenage girls do not care about football, but we're going to keep trying. So Taylor's showing up in the skyboxes again. Yep.
She's back.
Yep.
I mean, are you going to touch on her endorsement?
I will.
She endorsed Kamala.
Yep. Kamala's called there's her with 2 thumbs up.
Stood up for childless women with cats. That part was okay.
Yep. Yep.
Trisha's like, I see you.
She endorsed Kamala. And of course, this is going to backfire a little bit because Trump is, of course, jumping on the other side. He released a single post that said, I hate Taylor Swift, all caps.
That's crazy.
Exclamation points,
crazy.
Which means when she shows up in the skybox, like she is here, they are going to boo her because most of the fans at the games are red team. So yeah, this is not going to end well. Again, I believe the Chiefs are going to absolutely are going to go to the playoffs and probably deep. I wouldn't surprise me if they went to the Super Bowl again. I think it was a wasted effort last time. You could have had massive marketing thing having Travis propose, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so Taylor, the only celebrity that anyone cares about in the world right now. She's into the politics. There you go.
As you said, the only one touring. I do feel bad for all the other musicians out there. They deserve some recognition of their hard work.
They do.
And their art. I mean, come on. But you, Mark, you have Swifties in the chat because one of them messaged me for, kind of jumping on the bandwagon of not really being a Taylor Swift fan, which I correct myself. Hey, some music has been fine, whatever.
Right.
Not my style, actually. But the people that listen to her, they're great people, her music, whatever. But my point is, the masses use her to manipulate people's opinions and therefore, obviously get people to vote Kamala, which I thought was really interesting is that she endorses her right after the debate. That's what I thought was diabolical.
Yeah. Right after the debate. It's like,
oh, not only did I watch the debate, but I endorse her now after watching the debate.
And that's an old.
She said she did her research.
That's an old Russian saying, by the way, which is "strike while the iron is hot," which is
very persuasive for Taylor's fans. That's the whole point I was making.
Yep, Taylor is the only. Again, she's tied to social media. She's got a huge fan base, and her fan base is really big into social media. They can spread the word. Not that any of them vote. Now, can some of them convince their parents, like, Mom, Dad, you really should vote for Kamala because Taylor likes Kamala?
No, there's older people that are fans that are registered to vote. I read somewhere that there was a huge increase in people registering to vote after she came out in support of Kamala.
Yeah, I read that too, but you got to remember the source at that point, which is that's
I don't believe anything in the news.
If Blue Team says that, oh, hey, more Blue Team people are registering to vote, and it's like, okay. Again, the same people that say that Kamala, who never won a primary, not even close, is now currently leading, again, the election. Going to have so much fun. Don't forget, guys, that the election night is on a Tuesday. We will be covering it while it happens. And in all its freaking glory, and then hopefully, the next morning we have power.
What I hope is that Kelsey's family are all Trump supporters just for her own, living situation. That ought to be funny.
Wow.
Just like you said, the fans. I mean, have you ever seen the video footage of Travis Kelsey's mom not really being a fan of Taylor Swift? That was kind of in the beginning of their dating, but it's a little telling that maybe they just don't align on their political views either. But
it is a relationship of convenience. I'm going to steal a Dennis Miller line. If it was any more of a situation of convenience, there would be a Slim Jim rack in the bedroom and a Slurpee machine. It is that bad. It is
Yeah,
again. It
good
is.
one.
It is. But it's true. It is absolutely the writings on the wall, which we'll get to. But before we get to that, I want to mention real fast. This is a side story I wanted to cover last week, which was judge delays Trump's sentencing until after the election. Again, remember that Trump got nailed for all the hush money stuff, right? And he got convicted on all counts, right? And he was supposed to be sentenced the beginning of this month, and then it was going to be the middle of this month. And now they're like, yeah, you know what? We're going to kick it down the road until December. And why, you're wondering? It's like, well, because what do you do in this case? You're on uncharted territory. He's a former president of the United States. Are you really going to send him to jail for this? Are you really? You can't be objective in any capacity, because the very fact his title, you will never get a jury that won't be able to see this. Everybody knows who the guy is. There is no objectivity there. So they're saying, okay, right. But again, it is wonderful framing, which is, okay, we're going to wait until after the election, which would mean, remember what we talked about earlier, which was it's all or nothing, this election. If he wins, right, which I don't think he will, but if he wins, then he immediately pardons himself, and there's going to be no sentencing. That's it. It's over. He doesn't go to court anymore, right?
I'm not sure if he really can. I've heard some
of course he
conflicting
can.
things on that.
Wait, an acting sitting president can't.
It'd be so cool. He could swear in like through the bars and like hold the Bible through the bars.
But if he loses,
I mean, that would give the left something to look forward to. Is the longer they drag this out, they have something to hope for.
If you're absolutely right, DJ. If Blue Team wins, imagine what happens if you put Trump in jail after, right? Kamala's president, and then she oversees the sentencing and jailing the first time ever of a president. Oh my God!
It'll be entertaining for the puppet show, because like on our side, we don't really care, because we think that both sides are just puppets on a string being played.
I don't have a skin in it, but and you don't have a skin in it. Patricia doesn't have a skin in it, but whatever. Okay, moving on.
He looks thinner, by the way, Donald Trump.
Hopefully. I mean, you could stand to lose a few. Okay, this is for you, DJ. Travis Kelce's reps breakup plan is a forgery. Love story with Taylor is 100% real.
His hair is gross. His hair is gross, by the way.
Oh my God. Yeah, here they are on.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That just looks bizarre. Like she's wearing a bathing suit and he's wearing a top hat.
It is stagecraft, people. It is cross marketing at its best. It is. Again, I applaud them for trying, but look, pick your battles. I have never believed, like, with the NFL going over to England and trying to, keep getting, like, oh, we're going to get a franchise in London eventually. It's like, no, you're not. You got one in Canada because Toronto, Patricia's been there. Toronto might as well be an American city, period. It's that Americanized, right? Walking around Toronto, you forget so quickly that it's Canadian. You're never going to pull it off in the UK, and trying to get 13-year-old pop star fans interested in the NFL. No, it's just dumb. Okay, well, moving on.
They're not breaking up until she needs to write another album.
There you go.
That's true.
There you go.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
We're never, ever, ever getting back together again.
For sure this time. I mean,
it bugs me that, again, that media has shrunk down to such a degree that there's only just a handful of people that make it in the headlines anymore. And she's like the only. I mean, is anybody else even touring besides her right now?
I think she's the only person that makes music on Earth now.
Right now.
If you call that music.
Absolutely. Sorry, Madonna did it better, and she was better. And I remember her songs. I don't remember any of your songs. No offense, honey. Okay.
I don't like Madonna either, but I agree.
Okay.
Swiftie reaches far and vast. There are some flat Earth Swifties out there. So.
I am not. No, I am not. I am not
no
picking.
Offense.
Look, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I mean, yes, I have exactly one Taylor Swift song on my iPod. It's like people say, "What the hell's an iPod?"
You do?
I do.
Which one?
Shake It Off, of course.
Oh God,
it's the only. It's not even a remix version. It's just the straight up one. It's like, oh yeah, it's catchy. But I thought it was the same as catchiness as No Doubt's "Holla Back Girl." Right? It's in that sort of league. It's like, oh yeah, it's catchy, and if you have friends, it's a kind of popular little song. I know.
Back in the day, Gwen was best.
Gwen Stefani just crushed it. Absolutely freaking crushed it. Again, Gwen Stefani. Loved her stuff. I've loved so much.
I liked her in No Doubt, actually.
Yeah, she was great, No Doubt.
She's so cool.
Yeah. So,
and she's from, California girl, SoCal, and she's always been gorgeous. But Taylor Swift, it's just kind of funny because that one fan out there got all offended, but it's like,
I mean, come on, Katy Perry. Her stuff was iconic. Lady Gaga rewrote the book. I mean, she took basically Madonna's catalog, and completely rewrote. DJ met her.
I did
at an award show.
Back in my former life, but when I was a Glober, I was really caught up in these things, and that's how powerful Flat Earth is, guys, that it did free me from a lot of the things that used to be important to me. And so it just allowed me to change and grow. I am growing.
Yeah, me too, for sure. I agree with that.
So we're in Clown World. The first thing was Taylor Swift's breakup thing. That was Clown World, but it's going to escalate. So this one is this is going to shout out to Frito-Lay for getting ahead of this one, which is ingredient found in Doritos turns mouse skin transparent, right? Which is probably not a good thing. May have medical applications, right?
What?
It's like, what are you talking?
Is it like the orange dye in Doritos?
It's the yellow dye. Yes, Patricia.
Oh my gosh, I was just lying and making that up.
I want to read part of this.
Go
Scientists
apart.
at Stanford University were recently able to make a mouse's skin transparent using common food dye, otherwise known as yellow number 5.
How do they take that and put it on a mouse's skin and the skin becomes transparent when a human can pick up a Dorito and their skin becomes orange?
Well, because this is pure. Well, first off, you gotta understand that the color of Doritos is not natural. It's absolutely artificial. They color.
Really?
Yeah, they color the Doritos.
I thought that was legit.
Yeah. And so they take pure yellow number 5 and rub it on their skin. And it says, let's see, on the abdomen, scalp, and hind limb of the sleeping mouse, the dye turned the mouse's skin red, and then which made the skin appear transparent, and the mouse's organs were then visible to the naked eye. And
I like how they say on the sleeping mouse, meaning you knock the mouse out, and they don't put the part in afterwards where they have to euthanize them.
Right. And they're saying, this could have medical applications. It's like, really? Medical applications? Like good things. It's like, this could help us. Rather than saying, oh, hey, maybe the yellow dye number 5, which we've been using in our product for decades, may have some. Patricia's old enough to remember the red M&M thing from back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Red number, whatever red number was. That
red number.
Oh, yeah, somebody.
Red number 5, maybe.
Chat number. Look up what was the red color, the food color.
My mother was convinced that my brother ate too much candy, and the red dye number.
Yeah, because
whatever
that was bad.
it was causing my brother to become like crazy and hyperactive.
Yeah, there's the pictures, by the way, if you're curious. So it turns it red, and then it makes it see-through, sort of.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Are they trying to make humans invisible? Is that where
they don't know. They're just.
There's some I could be
this,
okay with that.
This is an
too.
interesting story.
Will Duffy, looking at you.
Frito-Lay decided, okay, we're going to, maybe we could turn this into an interesting story, and again, get ahead of it in case people are skeptical, because you don't want to release that in a bad way. It's like, what do you mean the yellow thing turns them? It's like, oh no, yellow, turning transparent, that's a good thing. We're going to see if there's medical applications, whatever. Okay, this one's for Patricia. Mm-hmm. This is, this one, which is, because we should have covered it last week. Hang on. Which is Kate Middleton. I'm done with chemo.
Yay, and look, her hair's just totally normal.
She lives. She's a, and I'll play the video for you.
Look, her eyebrows are normal too. Wow.
The Princess of Wales has shared an optimistic update regarding her cancer battle. Again, we thought she was doomed. Apparently, she's totally cured. She's officially concluded her chemo. Let's see. Incredibly rough year. Okay, I'm going to play this for you.
Good news, right?
I'm going to play this for you without the sound. You ready? So, well, hopefully without the sound. Do you see it on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so it's them walking with the family. The music is deafening.
I'm happy she's okay, though. I mean, honestly, how scary.
I'm happy, too. I'm just saying, I've never seen
weird.
A chemo.
Yeah, it is weird that she looks better than ever. Like, when Patricia
totally.
said, I agreed with that.
Like, is chemo a beauty treatment and we've all been fooled?
Yeah.
Because
she never looked
she's
bad.
Got some resilient genes, I guess.
She never looked bad, ever, and it drives me insane. It's like those shots right there. It's like, oh yeah. Now, by the way, your husband's next to you. He wasn't on there on that bench when you were making your announcement on your own, but now we're doing family together. We're out on a royal,
and all that's really stagey. This is all stagey.
Oh, that's
photo
professional.
Stuff.
That's right. That is medical grade photography happening there.
It's made to look like home movies, but it's kind of not.
Right. Oh no, you had a full blown
parts with her in it.
You had a 40-man team out there in the woods.
It's like golden hour lighting happening.
Yep.
So it definitely gives some sympathy vote back to the royal family, right? Is that kind of what they were going for?
Yep, pretty much. It's like all your conspiracy people can go away. They're all together. Looks like she'll be able to take be queen, and everything will be fine. And
so what was that all about?
What the hell
question.
happened? It's like you went to all this trouble, unless you're really good at cloning. You went to all this trouble, and she again. I like when she showed up at Wimbledon, right? The British Open. It's like she never looked better, and she never wavered. There wasn't a picture. I know with the royals, you never want to show weakness, but to Patricia's point, all these shots here, it's like, oh yeah, the fake home movie shoots there.
Yeah, it looks like 1970s movies.
Yeah, let's
something about it, a home movie.
Let's crane it
with
up.
Like
I'm sorry,
one of those cameras.
We'll stop this. This goes on for 3 minutes of nothing but this with really.
And this is full on PR.
Yeah. That's all it is.
It's damage control, right? Because you had Harry and Meghan leave the royal family and then come forward on that Oprah interview and then basically bash Will and the father, saying how terrible they are, and then they're coming up with a damage control campaign to kind of get everyone back in the good graces, right? I mean, that's what it feels like to me.
Yep.
But maybe it was true, and if it's true, hey, sorry, no one's kind of downplaying how terrible cancer is, but it is peculiar that she looks great, that it didn't lose her hair, her eyebrows, and that all of a sudden, it's back like nothing happened. It's a little strange.
We never
and
saw
butterflies are flying on her hand.
And I'm sorry, nobody. If she lost her hair, nobody grows their hair back that fast ever. Yeah. Not at that length.
And that's not a wig.
No, it's not. So whatever happened, we're never gonna know.
Something
How about that?
happened.
Yeah, something happened. They're never gonna tell you. Good for you, royal family. You recovered and you got past it. No one's got the conspiracy is now dead because I don't know.
Because she's not.
Yeah, because she's not. I don't know how you did it. But you did it, so good
job.
Good for you.
It was just a sympathy vote. That's what I feel like. They just want
before we do this last.
And by the way, she could be dead, and those kids could all be dead, and they all could not even exist at all, even not being dead, but just be completely fake.
Before we do this,
these days, how would we know?
This last clown world, I'm going to show you what
True.
I do here.
Got to question everything these days.
So I'm pouring.
Are you lighting the fire?
I'm pouring this in.
I was watching the show when Mark lit that fire before the explosion. I remember. Where were you?
It'll be our highest rated episode.
I'm adding the gunpowder.
Oh my God.
There you go. So.
Not scared at all, huh?
Nope.
Yeah, you just don't even check on it.
No. Guys, come on. Do you know me? Do you know what I grew up with?
I know, you're the pyrotechnist.
I am a pyro. I'm huge. Fire is my friend. I did a whole chapter in my survival guide about starting fires.
The very first episode of Strange World is called Fireworks, right?
Absolutely. No. Fire
I just
is
went
totally
back
fine.
and listened to that.
You need the song Firestarter behind right now.
Nice. When I watch movies, when a fire breaks out and people run around with their hands in the air screaming, I kick back on the couch and I just laugh and I laugh like, oh, you guys are so screwed. It's like, yeah. Again, my sister almost burned down our beach house at one time because she was making crab fritters, and the grease fire had spread to the stove, and she took the fire extinguisher and she jammed it into the grease and hit it, which just flung it over the kitchen. Thank God she was smart enough to figure out how to put it out, but
luckily she didn't get burned.
Oh, I didn't care. I didn't care about that.
Not Regina George.
Okay, so Regina George, by the way, one of my favorite female characters of all time.
I know you call your sister Regina George. I think that's funny.
She was. She absolutely was. I mean, it was the attitude. She was a cheerleader, and Regina George wasn't even a cheerleader, which was weird. She was just a rich girl, right? And my sister was, but my sister wanted to destroy people, so that was her thing.
Well, it's very Heathers. I don't know if you guys
very Heathers.
I loved Heathers.
Very Heathers.
I have it on DVD.
Heathers was dark. Mean Girls was a little bit lighter, but Heathers is iconic. That movie's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, but the last clown war, and then we'll just go into
the chainsaw line,
general discussion. Okay, I want to talk about this. This is Patricia and you and I were talking about. It's like, okay, the world, we've gone this far, and things make sense, and then something like this happens. So you remember some weeks ago I was talking about the whole Mr. Beast thing, it's he's the biggest YouTuber in the world, 300 million subs, they're all real because it's basically a children's gambling site where he sells things, notably candy bars, and he says there could be a lottery ticket inside each of these candy bars, stealing from Willy Wonka. And I'm going to do giveaways at any given time at the drop of a hat, and kids are scared to death to unsubscribe to the channel because they're afraid they might miss the chance to win stuff.
That's a good plan.
It is a good plan.
Note to self.
Allowed. I thought that wasn't allowed.
It isn't. He's bending,
Isn't
but
it
he's
called
but
lottery?
the way,
Literally.
the way he bends the rules. He's just skirting the edge. I mean, skirting the edge. And he released it, and he does everything. To where he was doing this prefaces with Lunchables. You guys are old enough to remember Lunchables. They've been around for years and years. Lunchables.
Do they still exist?
They do.
Maybe.
They do. As a matter of fact, there's a side story, which I didn't cover yet, which is Lunchables, which is made by Heinz, the ketchup people. Mm-hmm. They are now, after all these years, trying to sneak into the school lunch program, which is Lunchables will be an option for kids' nutrition stuff, right? Which means, again, if you can get a school contract, different school districts, that is straight up guaranteed money. Because that's guaranteed money every freaking month during the school year. And Mr. Beast has been, he's been trying to do his thing called Beastables at one point. He was trying to, I've seen it in Target stores. He's been trying to do this thing. Of course, also with his candy bar, which is basically a Willy Wonka knockoff children's gambling thing, which the authorities haven't figured out yet. Whatever. He's getting sued by everybody anyway. So some other parent company, and I haven't figured out who it is yet, wants to compete with Lunchables. So they have created what I consider to be the axis of evil. And I haven't figured out who this parent company is yet, but they got Mr. Beast to do the Lunchables part, right? So, right. And the candy bar they've done, but they had to pick somebody to do the energy drink.
Uh-oh. Elon Musk or Logan Paul? Which one of your mortal enemies is it?
It is Logan Paul. Logan Paul and Mr. Beast have teamed up for the Lunchables competition that they say is healthier than Lunchables. Let me read. I'm going to read some of this for you guys. And KSI's in on this too, because KSI is partnered with Logan Paul. Some of YouTube's biggest stars are taking on Lunchables with a competitor of their own. By the way, I'm sure this article is written by somebody on the Mr. Beast's team. Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI are teaming up for a groundbreaking new better-for-you lunch option called Lunchly. That is Lunchly. Terrible name, whatever, but, it's the closest they could get to Lunchables without...
Wait, mommy, I want Lunchly. I think it'll work.
Yeah.
I can hear it now.
6-year-olds, probably. Which combines all of their products into one meal that's aimed at their young fan base. The all-in-one meal includes a bottle of Prime Hydration. That's the thing that South Park made fun of in their episode where they were making fun of, where they called the lead character that was hawking the wares Logan LaDouche, which was awesome. They hate him, and rightly so. The all-in-one meal, Prime Hydration, a low-sugar energy drink, founded by Paul and KSI, that has skyrocketed in popularity, which means the article was written by them. A Feastables milk chocolate bar created...
Feastables, got it.
Created by Mr. Beast. In no way is it selling lottery tickets to kids. A popular YouTube star with more than 300 million subs, and one of 3 processed food options, including pizza, nachos or turkey, and cheese with crackers.
Yeah, that's very healthy.
Yeah. And
I come from the Lunchable generation, and they're good when you're 5, but the way to actually make something that would sell, in my opinion, is put some nutrition in there, like actual turkey and actual cheese. The quality is so bad, but at those schools, I bet it would blow up. It'd be so popular. Kids would be fighting over them.
Possibly.
By the way, the chat has said it's red dye number 40. What we were
red dye number 40.
Earlier.
Yeah.
A bunch of different people.
And I'm pretty sure that red dye number 40 is not around anymore. I'm pretty sure they pulled...
No, it still exists. I looked it up.
Oh, man, that's not good.
Why? It's a synthetic food dye that is commonly used in a variety of products. It's also known as Allura Red. And it says is. It doesn't say was. So.
I want to read these middle paragraphs. These are the ones I care about. So this is a quote from Logan. Absolutely not from Logan. Somebody wrote it. Our end game, the fact that you would say end game, freaking... He can't even spell endgame, has always been to not only provide high quality products, again, things he can't spell or define, but also healthier alternatives. I don't think he's used alternative before in his life. Lunchly co-founder Logan Paul said in a press release, he added that the school lunch market has been dominated by Lunchables. No, you mean dominated by the parent company that's backing you since he was a kid, and that it's time to provide a better option. Better option for those looking for a convenient, healthier choice. Okay. Lunchly claims to be healthier because Prime has more electrolytes than a Capri Sun. Oh, God. In Lunchables. Capri Sun is part of Lunchables. And Mr. Beast's chocolate bar has less sugar than a Kit Kat or Crunch bar. But it also includes a toy prize, like a lottery ticket. Lunchly's launch comes when Lunchable, owned by Kraft Heinz, announced a major initiative last year to be part of the school lunch programs. However, the company had to reformulate the ingredients to ensure the products meet federal guidelines first, including adding fresh fruit to its lunches. So even Lunchables couldn't get into the school lunch program on its own without modification. So good luck, you guys, trying to...
And even those processed packages, when they do have things like grapes or some kind of fruit in there or apples, there's a bunch of chemicals on it so that it doesn't rot.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't be eating.
Yeah, those poor kids. But I do like to make adult Lunchables, like charcuterie.
There you go.
Yeah, well.
There you go. So yeah, again, the two, and again, Logan Ball's being sued for crypto fraud, KSI is being sued for crypto fraud, Mr. Beast is being sued by everybody that you can think of, and all these guys, when the three of them are coming out and saying, "Oh, we've got a healthier option," right? Smile, wink. It's like, oh my God. So I think they're going to get in the school lunch program? No, but they'll probably end up selling it on store shelves and see what the kids do. Because
they're gonna be fighting over them. They're gonna be tearing each other's hair out for it. Well, in my household, if there was, they only lasted a minute.
Lunchables?
The Lunchables were gone so fast. It was a bummer, but
So there you go. Let's get these guys off the screen so I never have to see them again. And it is a sad day when I was horrified. I was like, really, he's teaming up with him. I mean, it's an axis of evil. That's all it is.
Oh, another thing that makes things a sad day is somebody almost shot Trump again.
All right, let's talk about it. If you guys missed it, somebody was hiding in the bushes at a golf course, if you believe it. He never got a shot off, and he was chased by every law enforcement person you can think of.
And how would the person who was there in the bushes with the gun have knowledge that Trump was actually going to be there?
Right.
Trump could have been at Mar-a-Lago. Trump could have been in LA. Trump could have been in a swing state. Right. Trump could have been in Las Vegas.
What was going on here? I don't even know the whole story. So let's.
Oh, so there was a guy. Well, again, Trump was playing golf, right? Why not? Yeah, as he does. And a guy was supposedly. And if you guys know anything about golf courses,
and there's no video or photos of any of this, by the way.
No, all they have is the final chase by the law enforcement guys. But eventually,
where any actor could have been.
Yeah, again, and could you have used this to? I know there's a lot of Trump supporters in our community.
Distract from perhaps his performance at the debate where he started bringing up like Haitian people eating dogs and cats, right. And
could you have used this?
Maybe
could this
follow winning the debate?
Could this have been staged to help the one political side or the other? Yeah, possibly. Maybe.
Yeah, every time he survives, he looks cooler, right? I mean,
right.
Yep, and of course they say that it's God protecting him.
Right.
And they are exploiting that at this point. Like, this is getting gnarly. All the world's a stage.
We have 6 weeks now until the election, give or take. I think somebody counted how many days.
So how many more times will Trump be fake assassinated?
Chat room,
right?
chat room. Do a quick search and tell me how many more days until
November. They're gonna have an image of him like the Matrix, where he's just dodging all the bullets and going at warp speed.
I think there'll be one more fake attempt on his life, and that he will eventually get hit with a bullet, but of course it'll be fake. He won't be hit with a bullet,
right?
And he might almost die.
Oh my God!
So.
That's what I think.
Gnarly.
Write that down.
We will. No, why not? I mean, there's been other people said, "Oh, there'll be a second."
Hey, about the first time he was supposedly fake shot at the. I did predict that ahead of time. Mark, you heard me predict.
You did.
One of our shows. I said that was going to happen.
You did.
I said he would be shot. I said in the head, and he wouldn't get hurt, which doesn't even make sense.
Which doesn't even make sense.
Do you have the Illuminati card playing game? Is that how you know everything?
Well, no, there's a lot of people who were saying the same thing. It wasn't originally and entirely from me. It's just it was in the ether, let's just say.
But Patricia does have actually a couple of Illuminati card
yes, I do.
Cards.
I know.
Not a full, not nearly. I mean, only a few though. I mean, I had a couple decks which I gave away at some of the conferences. Notably the Flat Earth card. Patricia has one of the few Flat Earth cards that's in English. I gave away a number that were in German.
I wish there was an Illuminati playing card that had me on it. There's one that has Robbie Davidson on it.
Is there a Robbie Davidson card? I don't know if I've seen it.
Yeah, I can't picture what it's called, but it looks just like him.
Ooh, I could picture the Patricia Steere card. It's like Carmen Sandiego. Where is she now? Like when she
with a hat and glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the Flat Earth Carmen Sandiego. It's like, where is she now? Use this when you want to disappear and not leave a trace.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Nice. I know.
We will see again as we get closer. We will talk more about how it's gonna play. I still think it's gonna be contested. I think it's gonna be they're gonna turn into a horse race, right? Because nobody likes.
Is there gonna be fire in the street like the fire behind you, Mark? After Dems lighten up the city.
I don't know why
Republicans fake win.
Why this makes you so nervous? Is it the pinkish sort of the things on?
It looks like there's 30 fires, and it's really close to your sofa, but it's an optical illusion.
See, not a mark.
He didn't flinch. Oh yeah.
The no. Even when I put my hand back there, I'm still at least 20 inches away from it. The where's it going with this? DJ,
is it hot?
Is it? No. Actually, it's no. Well, now I can feel it. No, I can feel it. It's about here.
Well, if the power ever goes out, you can use that to just stay warm and just sleep on the sofa.
Well, yeah, that's why my sister got it for me, was because
that's nice.
Yeah, I think officially it's like a portable fondue thing.
But wait, your sister got it for you? It might be rigged to explode.
No. I've disabled all that stuff. She doesn't try that anymore. But no, it's yeah, you're right. It's weird for whatever reason. Because the camera's up here. Right, it's way up here. I don't know why it's doing that effect, other than it might be it's picking it up off the glass. That's what's happening. So yeah, it makes it look like it. Yeah.
That's why I was saying the whole way the sun in Antarctica works could be some kind of reflection off the dome, if there is a dome.
Sure. Yeah.
So
yeah, there's not a flame in front. In fact, the one that's in front of it makes it look way closer because it looks like it's right about there, but there's no table there. That is so weird. And look, I can actually put my arm in front of it, which is even weird.
It kind of looks like your arm's on fire.
Yeah.
Huh.
Stuntman.
Yeah. Anyway, so with the time we have left, because Peanut's not here tonight. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell people. Peanut's not because Peanut's not here. We don't have phone lines because he runs the phone lines from his house. So blame Peanut. Do you have any burning questions, DJ?
Speaking of burning,
thank you, Patricia. because DJ's always curious about things. Is there anything on your mind?
I mean, I have been loving watching the old secret shows, like I told you at the beginning. So I'm excited you guys are going to be back tomorrow. So
not tomorrow. Week from tomorrow.
Oh, week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I had to change it. Yeah.
You guys were talking. I don't know. You probably have. I don't know how much you can remember of what you guys were even talking about, but it's still relevant in a lot of ways to today. And I'm learning so much about just like what you guys were going through at that time, because this is 2015, right? It's like. This is a long time ago for your flat earth journey to kind of unfold before all the mayhem. And you're talking about Eric Dubay and how he was like used your guys' Halloween costume pictures to kind of create a hit piece on you, which I thought was so messed up.
Very true. Yeah.
Oh, gosh, so many things Eric did that I can't even remember them all.
Yeah. Well, and again, that was pure. Again, people could say what they want, and you can go to IFERS, the International Flat Earth Research Society, and he's got his enemies list in there, but everything that Eric did against us back in the day was straight up jealousy.
That's so weird.
Eric even said that you and I, Mark, got his original IFERS website taken down.
Yeah, which is a bunch of crap. I've never even thrown a copyright strike. Go ahead, DJ.
It's so great that you guys are back and that Patricia's back, because it just gives more credibility to the whole movement, and it gives credibility to your guys' whole storylines from behind the curve, as well as also like maybe Eric can get off everyone's back. I mean, come on.
That'll never happen.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
It's just so lame, because your guys are going to be showing that like you still care about each other, care about the movement, care about Flat Earth, care about that you're not just continuing this lie. I mean, Eric has to kind of relent at some point, you would think, right? Like that's what I'm hoping, that he kind of drops it.
By the way, Eric was also invited to I was looking at some of the email strings that were going back and forth.
He was invited to
Antarctica, and I didn't see a response from him, which is interesting. I would have thought he would have at least been the
Well, you didn't respond either.
Well, no, I responded on this show.
Well, that's true.
So and I
oftentimes your strongest point is to be silent.
Well, I mean, and most of the thing was, again, which I talked about in the beginning of the show, which was I had addressed it so many times and downplayed it so many times over the years that why Why? What are you doing?
Oh, the cat.
The cat ran past.
Wow.
But it wasn't on fire. So
True. No.
I've addressed it so many times and downplayed it that why again it's like, all right, again, you guys want to burn a whole bunch of cash because this is not going to be a cheap venture. Why don't you you had your shot. If you really want to go after flat Earth, you really want to do something common, again, find me the whole vacuum chamber thing, or find somebody with an amateur rocket that goes up more than 60 miles and do some camera footage there. We were
with a bunch of cameras all over the top and all over the bottom.
We've been doing experiments. I mean, come on, the Karen B experiment in Hungary, the Lake Balaton experiment, the laser experiment over there, the mirror experiments that were done in California, the laser experiments done by Dean Marble, the airplane experiments done by Dean Marble, the pilots that, I mean, come on. I've got a playlist with nothing but subject matter experts, every branch of military, everybody that fires anything, any sort of weapon, and including pilots, and they all say the same thing. Your Antarctic sun thing is a bullet that will not affect any of that other stuff. But
Will Duffy might be able to get Candace Owen to believe it does, and then Candace Owen talks about it on her show because she doesn't understand the scope and the breadth of what's really going on, and then she broadcasts it to a number of people who listen to her show, and even if she's marginalized in some way, she's still kind of part of an alternative mainstream, and then that might leak over to mainstream, and that's that.
If it does, they can try to run with it. What I got to remind people of this, which is, remember, from the top level, when you cover us, even when you're coming at us, you're still covering us. Remember, DJ, the whole wooden arrows in the bonfire thing? You want to use this as that's going to be a lot of arrows, and it's not going to convince as many people as you think, because the general public, I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, is as dumb as a bag of wet hair. They do not get it. Right? They did not get Jaren's thing. They did not get the gyro thing. They, it's like picking on Bob with the whole gyro thing where he was mic'd up and, trying to talk. They don't understand the gyro experiment to begin with, and you can't force them to. So you think you're going to be able to convince them? I know David, he's like, oh no, they might be able to convince them. It's like, I don't think you can. You can tell them that it's bad, but they're not going to understand it. The average person doesn't. Come on. I mean, we've seen the people in the streets. Like, I try to remind people, and I should have an American flag behind me. If you're under the age of 30, you don't even know what the stripes on the flag stand for. So, or again, what DJ was saying, the fact, the average person doesn't even know how fast the Earth is supposedly rotating on its axis and going around the sun and flying sideways through the solar system, and so on and so on. If you don't know that, 24-hour sun in Antarctica, they're going to stare at you like you got a bug on your face.
Right. And it takes a long time to understand, even on the flat model, why it wouldn't work. I mean, it takes some looking into and kind of understanding both models pretty well to figure out what's going on. So I agree with you. But yeah, right. I mean, Dave Weiss, he talked about it last time. Check it out if you guys missed that episode. It was great. And thanks again, Dave, for being on the show.
Yeah, it was fun.
What I am curious going forward is the final card by Warner von Braun and the Founded Earth Brothers, who were on the Tinfoil Sombrero. So again, shout out to that podcast. Check out their episode. They have that documentary that they made called The Final Card, and I think we should talk about it next time. I'll remind you, because it's all about, are they planning to use asteroids, like, fake an asteroid collusion with Earth, or, then the final card is the aliens, obviously.
Sure.
So that was on my mind this week, is what I was really curious.
All right, well, ask me next week. We'll definitely talk about aliens, because next week I'm going to be talking about things I believe in anyway. Which will be super fun, because people are like, really, you believe it? They're like, yeah, why the hell not?
I'm excited.
Patricia, do you have any final thoughts before we?
Well, somebody in the chat was saying Patricia's straight up making things up. Eric never said that you and Mark were responsible for taking the IFRS website. Oh, he did.
Eric has done a lot of stuff. Hey, look, if you're an Eric fan,
but he really literally did do that. I'm not making it up. There'd be no reason for me to make up anything, because he said and done a lot of things.
Eric has back in the day was very proactive. It was Eric versus everyone. Except for
chilled out. He still probably feels the same about but he's chilled out and pulled back, and is focusing more on making videos about flat Earth and other things on his channel, and not as many attack hit piece videos on people. So that's great.
Maybe he's grown up. He's probably also realizing that he doesn't own flat Earth. It's for everyone. It's popping up all over the world.
Right.
No, he doesn't realize that.
I mean, he might as he gets older. He's got to be pushing 40, so I'm hoping that he matures. But it's nice to see you guys back. I'm excited to watch The Secret Show. It's so cute how intimate you guys were with each other that I could see that little spark. And so, we'll be staying tuned to see what happens.
That's actually the flame. It's not a spark.
It was definitely,
Next Wednesday, The Secret Show on my channel.
Yeah, you're my Mulder and Scully for the flat Earth.
All right, we will.
And the link for my channel to subscribe will be in this video, but it's Patricia Steere, small channel.
Yep, I will.
Let's build it up.
I will include it. All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up. So we'll be here next week, same flat time, same flat channel. Say goodnight, Patricia.
Good night.
Say goodnight, DJ.
Good night, strange world.
And with that, goodbye, everybody. Roll credits, hot sex. Let's make sure I don't screw this thing up. And, oh, that's right. I don't even have to switch to breaks. I just have to, we'll do the graphics. I'll do a fun little slideshow next week. I'm just going to do the music this week. Because I still have the flame I got to burn out.
ever been. Wound up chasing stars all over again. There's words for what you got, what you have, and what you'll ever need. Love so many nights, so many nights, so many ways to believe.
Paige needs to get into her PJs with her cup of cocoa and her 6 marshmallows. Night, Mark.
Mike Jack. Jack.
You realize it's the same link every week. It never changes.
Yeah, I know. I should paste it somewhere, I think.